We're black rebels, searching for freedom, trying to break these chains from my mind, trying to find the king that lies inside.
Everybody, they in Crimmins. So, I guess from the gate, the reason that I really wanted to talk to you for a couple of different reasons, and it's because, especially you know Lisa. Do you know Lisa or Kristen better?
Both. I was closer with Lisa.
Okay,
we
cool.
ran in the same circle. Kristen was a couple years older, a year or two older than me.
Gotcha.
Lisa was a year below, but
Yeah.
we hung out pretty frequently.
But are you from Harrington or?
We moved around a lot. I
Right.
was born in here. We lived in Marcus Hook.
Right.
We moved to Wilmington. Then we moved to Virginia. Then we moved to Tillamook, Oregon.
Right.
Then to Los Angeles. Then Melbourne. Then back up to Philly. Then down to Dover.
Wow.
Then Felton, Lake Forest. That's where we met each other.
I had no idea.
Yeah, we moved around a lot.
Okay, cool. But the I know that you lean very progressive for talking just politically.
Right.
And it's always interesting to me to hear from someone who, I guess you didn't grow up completely in Harrington, but you are used to a very conservative crowd, at least in that setting, right?
They were around. I mean, it's so downstate Delaware. Yes, it's overwhelmingly conservative. It's very traditional. The kids that I fell in with didn't really fit into that mold.
Right. And that's what Lisa described. She was like, Dan was always, kind of like the cool, like skater kid who would, enjoy some marijuana maybe every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
And, for you to come from that and to take a very, I don't know if it's conservative, but like to go in the armed forces, you went to Army, right?
Yeah.
And to kind of come out from that even maybe more progressive?
Okay, so when I enlisted in '02,
When did you graduate from high school?
I graduated from high school in 1998.
Okay.
Went to college for a few years. Really spinning my wheels. Wasn't doing well.
What were you studying?
I started off at art school. Was an illustration major at DCAD, and then I moved over to University of Delaware as an English major. It's kind of like you ever see Free Willy?
Sure.
At the end, the whale jumps over the pier and hits the water and just swims as hard as he can.
Yeah.
Well, I think the next scene that they don't show is that whale swims as hard as he can for like 20 miles, and he's so happy, and he starts to slow down because he's getting tired, and he looks around, and he's like, I'm free. Oh no, now what? And that's kind of what happened to me in college.
Interesting.
I didn't have the structure, and I floundered. But politically, at that point, I was more of a libertarian.
Okay.
My dad is a Randian objectivist. He's Ayn Rand, Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah, that's hardcore though.
It is.
Where is he from?
He grew up in Virginia,
Okay.
and then he moved to New Jersey to start high school, and then graduated and moved to Concord High.
Okay,
So
yeah.
He graduated around here, or Wilmington, Concord. Northern Delaware.
Yeah.
So he had that in me, and it made sense. I mean, objectivism and libertarianism is a very attractive ideology for middle-class white men, especially adolescents, middle-class white male adolescents. It fits. It makes sense from that perspective. I voted for W.
Yeah, really? You did?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
The first time, because it was 1998.
Sure.
2000. There wasn't the access to information. I hadn't really been exposed to much. I was a dumb kid.
Well, you all are at that age.
Right.
Who isn't?
So this was my mindset that the best government governs least. There's no such thing as altruism, rational self-interest, all the tropes of objectivism. And my dad was big into it. It wasn't just Fountainhead. I mean, I read everything Rand put out. I read Leonard Peikoff and the philosophical school she founded. It was all lunacy, and at that point it made sense to me. So I'm in college, I'm floundering. I had my high school relationship had ended messily, and I didn't have the perspective or the depth to really handle that properly. I was drinking a lot. Wasn't doing well in school. 9/11 happened.
Okay.
And it fucked me up. So
would you believe that I was in Austria when 9/11 happened? I was overseas in a music program, and I remember sitting at a subway Like at the, I mean, not the subway, you
Yeah,
people like at
like,
the subway.
on Metro.
And at the Metro, and I'm looking up at the screen, and it's like, what?
Well, so like I was at Delaware,
Uh-huh.
and I'd applied for housing late. So it was me and 4 other kids in one of the RA's room in Sharp Hall.
Okay.
So it was usually everybody's 1 bedroom, 2 rooms, 2 people in them. We had 3 bedrooms and a common area. We stole a bunch of couches from the common area. We each brought a TV. The idea was, this is back when I was pretending to give a shit about sports.
Okay.
That we're gonna watch all the games, and we're gonna have this is gonna be the party spot.
Sure.
So I overslept. I mean, it was Monday Night Football. We'd gone to Grotto's, got real drunk. I was gonna blow off class that morning. I was woken up by one of my roommates, handing me the phone, and I heard a bunch of people in the living room, and it was my buddy Eric Hendrickson. You know Eric?
I do.
I think so. A little Filipino kid, works at Poppycock, went to high school with us. Maybe you don't. You know.
Yeah.
Ask Lisa, she'll tell you about him. He's a weirdo. Great kid.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you watching this? The World Trade Center's gone. And I'm like, no, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Can I cuss on this?
Dude, you fucking kidding me? Does that help?
So I go out into the living room, and basically the whole floor is in there on couches. Everybody's sobbing. Both towers are already gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm watching the footage of all this, and it was a very it was a seminal moment. It was one of those before and after moments in my life.
Yeah.
Right?
How did you feel? Was it a lot of things, for sure? How much was it fear? And how much was that feeling just straight up, I'm going to get these motherfuckers who did this to us?
That came later.
Yeah?
My initial reaction was shock
Of
and
course.
fear and what's going to happen next. And one of the kids I was living with, he was on the UB basketball team. His name was Vaughn. I don't remember his last name. We didn't keep in touch. But his mom worked at a hospital in Lower Manhattan.
Oh, shit.
And
Okay,
he was trying to get a hold of her, and he was freaking out. The phone lines weren't working. And I remember going outside to smoke a cigarette and looking up, and there was no contrails.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that day? It was perfectly clear. It was a gorgeous day.
Yes.
You were in,
But I
yeah.
remember on camera seeing it.
Where we were, there was not a cloud in the sky.
Mm.
And it struck me that I had never, you always looked up and saw contrails there. There's Dover Air Force Base, Philadelphia International, BWI, we're in those flight paths.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. They shut down everything. It really, really shook me. And I saw Bush on that pile of rubble. That speech, the man's a war criminal, and I hate him to death, but that speech is something.
Dude,
that was inspiring.
No, I think, I think everyone was kind of hoping to see that from Trump over the past, what we've been going through. And
Hope
he's
in one hand, shit in the other. I know it's
so bad. Like,
it's awful.
But anyway, go ahead.
So
Like that was his moment. He could have had it. He could have like saved his whole campaign. Just if someone's like, "Hey, dude, this is actually your moment. You could really like flip everything." But no. But go ahead.
we can talk about this later. People have this weird idea about like all the monstrous tyrants of the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
What people seem to forget is that every one of them was an idiot.
Uh,
Every one of them it was. Anyway, so I decide that like, well, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna grab up my brother. He was a freshman at UD. We're gonna go home.
Yeah.
Because classes are canceled. We'll drive back and we'll reset.
this is downstate you're going
Yeah,
to?
yeah,
Okay.
back down Felton. So go home. We come back up on the 13th, and I walk down Main Street to the recruiting station because I got a bunch of shit in my head. One, I'm pissed off.
Wow.
Two, in my head, this is going to be a proper war. In my head, at that point,
Wow.
this had to have been
Right.
the action of, it had to be state actors. This isn't a criminal act. This is an act of war by a nation state. That's the only thing that made sense to me, and that is kind of what they were suggesting.
I think everyone.
Everyone thought that, right?
Like,
Because on September 10th, if I had described the events of September 11th, you'd have said, wow, is that the new Die Hard movie? That's crazy. Because that's why it worked, because it was so outlandish.
it was so outlandish.
So I go, and I'm also thinking, well, there's going to be a draft. This is
Yeah.
a war, we're all going to get into this.
Mhm.
I don't want my brother to have to go. And then a thing that I didn't admit to anybody until 15, 18 years after the fact, is it was basically a slow, drawn-out suicide attempt. I figured that I'm not doing anything. This will be a way for me to go over there and
Wow.
finally get out of all this shit, and it'll have meaning, and my parents will have to answer that questions.
Wow.
Those questions. I was place mentally. So I was a heavy drop. I weighed about 290 pounds at that point.
How tall are you?
5'10".
Okay, yeah.
So it took about 6 months of hard work to cut weight.
What did you get down to by the time you got to?
By the time I left for basic, I was down to like 215. By the end of basic,
You're a big guy either way. Like you're stocky.
And look, when I got out, I 4 or 5 years ago, I weighed 370 pounds. Like I got big again, but so it took a while for me to get in. So I talked to the recruiter the first time on the 13th of September of 01. I left for infantry school on the 24th of March the next year.
This is Army, right?
Yeah,
right.
Army. So I went down to Fort Benning. As soon as I got on the bus, I made a mistake. Everybody, whenever I told any of my friends that I was joining the Army, they were like, "No, you're not. You're not going to do that." So it became a pride thing. Like I'll show you.
Yeah.
Much to my detriment. So I go to infantry school. I have orders for Fort Drum, 10th Mountain Division up in New York. Those orders get rescinded.
What did your parents say?
They did not want me to do it. I remember vividly the conversation I had. My dad was proud, didn't want me to do it. My mom just didn't want me to do it.
Right.
But I looked at them like, guys, I'm not asking your permission. I'm informing you of my decision.
Yeah.
This is what's happening.
This is my man moment, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right. Should have listened to him. So I got down to Fort Benning and I realized I'm not cut out for this. I'm not a joiner. I'm not.
Very soon therein, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was like within hours.
Hours.
But like, I'm not going to quit, right? Because how am I going to face anybody? I've got to see this
Holy
through.
shit.
And I had the conscious realization that up to that point, I had quit everything I'd ever done in my life. I never followed through with anything. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start now, and maybe this will be good for me. And in a lot of ways, it has been.
Right. Right.
So one of the things that drill sergeants ask you all the time, like when you're doing something wrong, is, "Oh, you want to be an individual?" Well, the first time I got asked that, I was like, yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to be an individual?
I am an individual, yes. Yes, that's my dad raised me to believe that selfishness was a virtue. I am an individual, and they did not. That's not the right answer. That's not what they want to hear.
Sure.
You are a member of a team.
Yep.
Okay. So I got through it. I had orders to Fort Drum, so I'm thinking, okay, Afghanistan. About halfway through, I got a nastygram saying that my orders had changed, that my orders to Fort Drum had been canceled, stand by, and I got orders to Korea. Okay? So I was like, well, this is not what I signed up for. I didn't join to go to Korea.
Right.
When you sign up, they give you a wish list. So you have the 3 places you want to go, CONUS and Continental, and then 3 places you want to go, CONUS. So I had, I think I had Carson, Bragg, and Campbell.
Okay.
That's the places I wanted to go. And then the places, the OCONUS, I just wrote not Korea, not Korea, not Korea.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
And they sent me to Korea.
Of course.
So,
Just so that, how much do you think that was like, fuck you, we're sending you to Korea because you asked to not go to Korea?
So I don't think at all.
No,
I don't think that comes into it at all. It's,
okay.
They don't give a shit. I think what they did, a lot of people had orders to drum, and there were about 15 of us that all got our orders canceled the same day. And every one of us got orders for Javelin school. And the Javelin missile is an anti-tank.
Oh, like, what the fuck, Javelin?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. What?
It was this high speed at the time, it's still pretty high speed, fire and forget missile system that is designed for taking out armor, right? It's a very expensive piece of equipment. Each round at the time was like $400,000, and it required a bit of technical know-how.
Armor meaning a tank? What did you say?
Yeah,
okay.
a tank, a vehicle. It was immaterial. It's basically, it's got an infrared camera on the nose of the missile. So you've got this big like microwave that you're holding onto with a thermal scope, and you use Nintendo controllers to put a bracket around the target. That gets transferred to the seeker eye in the missile. There's an explosion, a blast that kicks the missile up into the air. Then the rocket motor kicks in, and it goes up to about 1,800 meters, comes down, hits it from the top. It's a really, really expensive piece of equipment. So everybody who got that had certain test scores, and then everybody who got that school went to Korea.
So real quick, I could talk about this for a minute.
Sure.
So first off, just as a cool factor, were you like, this is really fucking cool?
Yeah.
Oh, you were? Okay. Are you
The philosophical problems I have with the military and our mission and the way we achieve it, those all exist. Right next to that is it's cool.
Okay.
Like, blowing stuff up.
Okay,
shooting
okay.
guns, it was fun.
Now,
You
what
know?
kind of an app? Like, what was the brain power? You know, what kind of aptitude did you have to have? What was the skill set to be able to
Okay,
use
so
it?
it seems like when they handed me this thing and gave me through the class, it was really, really apparent to me that you could have given this weapon system and a 20-minute block instruction to your average 7th grader,
Okay.
and they could have done it. It was simple to use.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know how they determined that you have to be like one of the smart kids in the Army to get this. It is, I mean, it was all classified shit. That the thermal optics that we used at the time, there was no such thing as a thermal optic that big or that good, that small, right? So it was highly classified. I think that was part of where the test scores came in. You had to prove a certain level of responsibility.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So, yeah, and it was a 3-week course learning how to care for the equipment, use the equipment, how it worked. There was like a nitrogen pack on the missile, so that like once you started the missile timer, you had 4 minutes to fire, or you had to break it off. And the old system was a tow rocket system, a tube-launched, optically tracked, wire-guided missile. So you're sitting there on this big-ass tripod with this huge thing that took a while to set up. You fire the missile, there's this huge smoke signature, and you had to sit there tracking this missile, steering it in, while a wire unspooled as it flew across the battlefield. And you were stationary, and you had to hold it until it hit the target. So if you're firing that at a tank, the second you fire, there's this huge smoke signature. The enemy can see you, and now they're traversing the turret over, trying to get where you are to take you out. It wasn't a great system, so the Javelin is safer for it's easier to see here. Okay? So they sent me to Korea, and that's where I started learning how fucked up our system was. Right before I got to Korea, there was an incident where, so in Korea, you have a bunch of little tiny bases, right? And the training facilities are all up by the DMZ, except for like Twin Bridges, which is out in the middle of nowhere. But to get there, you have to drive through Korea. So picture if you're driving down 95, and a couple times a week, you got to pull over because there is a convoy of legit tanks and Bradleys and trucks and military equipment with foreign troops in just driving around your town.
Right.
Okay. So
Like all of a sudden on 4th Street,
Right.
Germans are driving tanks through 4th
Right.
Street. Right.
So, and Korea's wild. Korea, every building from Seoul north is already, the North Koreans have it pre-plotted for artillery, right? So everything is already targeted. They have gun emplacements in the mountains. They said that if there was a war with Korea, we would expect to get bombarded at a rate of 250,000 shells per hour with a standard Soviet mix, meaning every third shell would have been what we used to call NBC, what they now call CBRE rounds, or chemical, biological, radiological. It would have been a mess. Every bridge is wired. There is C4 on every bridge where in the event of an invasion, rock engineers will go out and blow every bridge north of Seoul. Every cut, they're like hills, and there's roads cut through them. There's rock drops with C4, with explosives in them. So somebody runs up with a detonator, pops it, drops these rock blocks, breaks off the roads, blocks the avenues for vehicles to come through. There is an anti-tank wall, basically the length of the country.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe you, but it's like, wow.
It's, where there's mountains, they don't need it. But there are places where you look from horizon to horizon, you see this tank wall that is 6-7 meters high on the north side, and it slopes up on the south side. North and South Korea are in a perpetual, I mean, they're still at war, right? They're in an armistice, they're right there. But there's incursions, there's all kinds of shit. It's a scary fucking place.
I knew it was a scary place, but I don't know what that looks like
Who
until.
knows that? Why would anybody, I mean,
Right.
if people understood exactly how terrifying the world is, people would stop buying things. People would reassess their priorities, so we don't talk about this. So, before I got there, there was a convoy of bridge layers. Remember in G.I. Joe, they had the big track vehicle that had the bridge on top?
Yes.
Those
yes.
are real things.
Yeah. Those are
So,
super cool. Right.
Where the driver sits is like where the driver sits in a car, okay? But right next to him is the engine. So the driver, even with the hatch open and him up, his field of vision is straight ahead this way. He cannot see what's over here.
Okay.
So you've got a vehicle commander who sits in a higher position.
Right.
Who's able to see that. They've got a radio, they're talking. Right? If you're driving, you're taking your commands from that guy. So the SOP at that time was that if the vehicle commander and the driver lost contact, they would continue moving until the next scheduled short haul. So in this particular day, these vehicles, the driver and the vehicle commander lost communication. They're driving through the Korean countryside. There were these two little Korean girls. The story goes that they got scared. They didn't know what was going on because it's a huge rumble. Everything shakes when these vehicles run by.
Okay.
For whatever reason, they squatted down by the side of the road. The driver of this particular vehicle didn't see them, didn't have comms with his vehicle commander, rolled over these two little girls. They're dead. Okay. That sparked a wave of protests.
Sure.
All up the peninsula.
Okay.
We got called down to Camp Red Cloud to do to reinforce the Korean National Police. There were demonstrations out front of our base. When they eventually did the court martial, they decided that no one was at fault. They followed SOP.
Well, who could be at fault? Like, who would, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. The SOP should have been, if you're driving down civilian roads, and it was after this, you know, if you lose communications, you stop right there.
Gotcha.
And you reestablish communications, or you put that bitch on a record.
Yeah.
You figure something out. They were following the SOP. 2 children were killed. The U.S. response was fairly callow. You know, there wasn't a lot of empathy. There wasn't a lot of sympathy there. People got pissed off. We watched Korean National Police just beating the hell out of protesters, right? Because in Korea, there's compulsory national service.
Sure.
When you turn 18, you have between the time you're 18 till I believe 21, you are going to do federal service. Military, national police, they have a national fire department. If you're wealthy, they do their service in an office. You know, they work in the bureaucracy somewhere. If you're a little less wealthy, you become a Katusa, which is a Korean augmentation of the U.S. Army. So these are ROK soldiers who live, train, are in the chain of command of American units.
Okay. Oh.
They're still getting paid $15 a month, you know, but they're effectively American soldiers. There's a Katusa Sergeant Major.
Katusa.
Yeah.
Is that an American or Korean word?
It's an acronym.
It's an acronym.
Korean
Okay.
augmentation to the U.S. Army.
Okay.
It sounds like an Asian word. Yeah.
Right.
So we're dealing with these protests and we're seeing these things, and I'm just realizing that there's something not quite right.
And you're like 21?
No, I listed a little bit older. I was 22 when I got to Korea.
Okay. Yeah.
22 and 23, so 02, 03.
Uh-huh.
So while I'm in Korea, we invade Iraq.
Yes.
And this makes no sense to me. I don't understand why we're going to Iraq. But whatever, they say they're bad. The government wouldn't lie, right?
Right.
This is my thought. So my year in Korea.
Real quick. So I remember I was just, that was when I started to get a little bit skeptical, like why are we going to Iraq? And I don't really remember why I was skeptical, because I remember that they did show that Saddam had weapons, and that was all bullshit now, but like, you know, that was the concern, but like something didn't sit right even then with me, and I didn't really know what was going on either. But like, why did it not make sense to you?
Because the mission in Afghanistan wasn't done.
Right.
Because the nation of Iraq, they were, you know, Saddam's Iraq, it was a terrible thing. He was a fascist autocrat.
Right.
He was a terrible ruler. His people suffered immensely. But there was nothing to suggest that he was involved with Afghanistan, with the Taliban, because he was a Sunni.
Right.
You know?
Right. I didn't even think about that, actually.
And he was a secularist. I mean, it wasn't really until the Kuwait War that he started embracing Islam. The Allah Akbar was not part of the Iraqi flag until the early 90s. So, and what I've learned since then is, you know, okay, did Iraq at some point have chemical weapons? Yes.
Right.
How did the U.S. know this? Well, 2 reasons. 1, he used them.
Right.
2, we had the receipts. We sold him these weapons, right? We armed the Iraqi army as part of the Cold War, as part of the proxy fight with the Soviet Union. The Soviets, this thing I talk about a lot, there's a straight line between the attempt by Mossadegh in Iran to nationalize the Persian oil industry. BP was like, you can't have this. So the British government and the U.S. government set up a coup, installed the Shah, who was a right-wing autocrat, who mismanaged the country to the point that in the 70s we had the Islamic Revolution. So now we've got to check that because the Soviets saw them as a natural ally against us. So we start funding Hussein, who is a Ba'athist ruler. The Ba'ath Party is basically an Arabic offshoot of the Nazi Party.
All this stuff that you know, how much of it is you just reading stuff? Number one. How much of it? What percentage of it is you just reading up and following stuff versus how much does the Army brief you on any of this history?
No, the Army didn't give me any of this.
None, right?
No,
Okay,
no,
I didn't think so.
The Army.
This is you just knowing your shit.
Yeah, and this is stuff that I wasn't fully aware of at the time. This is all stuff that I've come to learn after the fact, right? So throughout Hussein's reign, he was allowed to do whatever he wanted with U.S. approval. So when he invaded Kuwait, he didn't think for a second that we were going to have a problem with that. He thought, I have a claim to this. The U.S., they need me. It'll be fine. The Saudis they started getting nervous because Hussein was a crazy person. The Saudis are crazy too, but they don't want to get into a war with the only thing that stands between them and Iran.
Sure.
Saudi Arabia and Iran, that's their rivals, their enemies. Saudi Arabia liked having a Sunni power hostile to Iran between them. We need Saudi Arabia for the oil, so what are we going to do? Well, we said, well, to the House of Saud, let us put our troops in Saudi Arabia. We'll defend you. We'll take care of this. Bin Laden, who already had Al Qaeda, the base, he had an army, said, no, don't let the infidel into our holy land. We can do it. We can defend you. The Saudis said, thanks. We appreciate all that you've done, but no, we're going to go with the U.S. because we think they can handle this.
Sure.
Well, that's what started Bin Laden's took his focus away from Afghanistan and the Soviets, and towards, at that point, that's when America became the greater Satan. Okay? So there's this straight line that goes back even further. That goes back to the First World War, when the fall of the Ottomans and Western powers.
Wow, I didn't know that much. Yeah, I didn't know that much. Yeah.
Look at how Iran is drawn, Iraq is drawn. Look where the borders are, and then look at where the social borders are. Look at where Kurds live. Look at where Shias live. Look at where the Marsh Arabs live. Look at where Sunnis live. The areas were partitioned with no regard to the people who live there, because that's the colonialist mindset. This is ours now. We're going to extract this shit because God said we can. God said that as white Europeans, it is our destiny and our duty to civilize the world, and all of this is for us.
At that point, do you think that was, how much of even that do you think is even not considering race? It's just like, we're rich, we want more shit, I want more control. Or how much do you think there is like, well, I'm a white man and I, have...
Well, okay.
it's just like, I'm powerful, I want more shit.
Yeah, that's part of it, but you have to have justification for these things, right? There's this idea of moral relativity, right? I reject it completely.
Okay.
What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, regardless of where you are, regardless of what the law says, regardless of what societal norms say.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Slavery was always a moral evil. The chattel slavery of the American South in 1830 was a moral evil. The Barbary slavery of the African coast of Mediterranean was evil. You enslave somebody, that's evil. It's always evil because it always causes the same amount of suffering, but it's useful. So people justify it, and that's why they invent things like gods and religions and race, right? Because it makes this happen. So, and it's so ingrained it doesn't have to be conscious. Think about our founding documents, okay? The American founders, the revolutionaries, who were extremely progressive for their time, they were fighting a revolution against their king, established by God, okay? They, with a straight face, wrote down, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, not black people. They didn't even have to say that. Everybody said, oh, we don't mean them, right? That's how ingrained it is. So the colonialist mindset has all sorts of justifications, but you're right. At its core, it's just, I have a lot and I want more, and I can take it from you because I'm a bully. The capitalist and the cutthroat have the same mentality, right? So, I'm rambling and getting far afield.
I know, I'm trying to bring it back, but
So,
this is all worthy of discussion.
These are all the things that I was starting to learn while I was over there doing the work of colonialism.
So you're seeing, what you saw in terms of the two little girls getting run over. How much time do you have? Are you reading stuff then too? Are you like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching.
You do have time to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, so the army in Korea is mostly boredom, right?
Okay.
It's mostly mowing lawns,
Really?
motor pools.
Literally. It's.
Get
the fuck. See.
So here's the average.
People have no idea.
No. So you wake up on Monday morning. You're up at.
He said mowing lawn. He said mowing lawn. But go ahead.
You're up at 5 o'clock. You're reporting at 5:30. You're standing around until everybody shows up for PT at 6:30. You run PT for an hour and a half. You go to breakfast, you shave, shower, get your uniform on, which you better have pressed the night before. Then you're down to the motor pool for the company formation. They have the bullshit, here's what we're going on today, here's what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. I was mechanized infantry. So the people that were vehicle crews stay in the motor pool and perform maintenance on the vehicles. Every week, you're doing checks. Does it start? Do the lights work? Do we have enough oil? Does the turret traverse? Does it move? Then you got to make sure everything's parked exactly the same angle. All the gun barrels are at exactly the same angle. Everything's chalked up.
This is like OCD dream.
Right. The rifle squads go back to the barracks, and you spend all day cleaning weapons. You take them out, you break them down, you do your preventative maintenance checks and services. Every Monday, that's what you do. Tuesdays is something else, but you'll do classroom stuff, you'll do map reading, you'll do inspections. One company is always on red cycle for like a week every month, and red cycle is when you're out doing area beautification. There's a bunch of rocks. Go ahead and paint the tops of those to make it look pretty. It's sweep the motor pool.
Yeah, make sure it's still running. Keep going. Keep talking. Yeah, we're fantastic. Go ahead.
It's a lot of busy work because when the time comes to shoot shit, you have to be in that mindset where, okay, I'm going to do what you say because you say it. People have this idea, basic training in the unit, training is a thing, but it's mostly conditioning.
Right.
Okay?
It makes sense when you say it that way, yeah.
Especially since you watch nature documentaries.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see, like, you've got, like, polar bears having a fight, elk, these giant animals, many of which are apex predators designed to kill shit.
Yeah.
And yet they almost never kill, two bears almost never kill each other.
Right.
Apes do it more often, but generally they're fighting for dominance in the pack, territory, resources. They don't kill each other. Why? Because all animals have an innate aversion to killing members of their own species.
Okay.
And the more social those animals are, the stronger that aversion is. With people, it's even more. Okay? Picture early man. People have existed the way we exist today, Homo sapiens sapiens, for about 250,000 years. Okay? We've had agriculture for 12,000 years. We've had writing for maybe 10,000 years. We've had this modern life for 30 years. Okay? So for most of human history, you were walking around, scavenging for food. That is your life, right? You've heard people say, like religious people sometimes say that humans are the only animals that have sex for pleasure.
Yeah, I've heard dolphins do.
Okay. The thing is, not only is it wrong, it's the exact opposite of wrong. We're the only animals on Earth that have sex for any reason other than because it feels good. Bears don't understand that having sex makes more bears.
Okay.
Human beings didn't understand that for the vast majority of our existence. They wanted to fuck. They had that biological imperative. It felt good, so they would fuck. And then a couple months later, there would be a new person.
But they didn't associate?
Nope.
Really?
Why would you make that association?
I don't know. I don't think about that kind of stuff.
Right. You don't read writing. You don't.
I'm not
understand-
questioning you,
Yeah.
but where did you see this or read this?
I forget where I read this, but it was very convincing, and it made sense. Because the thing about humanity is we figure out what works way before we figure out why it works or how it works.
I can dig it.
Right? So you have this idea that thunder is the gods are angry at you, right? So for most of human history, we didn't understand that.
Sure.
Okay? So, the point I'm making, I do this sometimes. Sorry.
No, it's all great.
We figure out what works. Okay, the aversion to killing, that's where I'm going with. people don't want to kill members of their own species,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everything about it is, it's counter to what you do. So now I remember where this goes. I've given this speech before. You're an early man, you have this kid, all of a sudden, it is in your interest to eat that fucking baby, right? Your survival interest, because human children, as you know, take a while before they can do anything on their own. The first couple of years of their lives, they're just machines that turn time and effort into shit and screaming, right? But you can't, because you have, that's no good for the species. Your individual benefit doesn't help. The species go on, and that's what life is about.
Sure.
Okay? So you have to, that's biology. Part of biology is that you have this aversion to killing members of your species because it's not good for the species. You gotta get that out of people, and you can't train it out of them, you condition it out of them.
Gotcha.
So Dave Grossman, who is a terrible human being, he's part of the reason why we have such violent policing. He wrote a book called On Killing that was very good. He was one of the first people to apply scholarly research tactics to killing.
Okay.
And his research found things that, like at the Battle of Gettysburg, when they collected muskets afterwards, you'd find muskets that were loaded on the ground, hadn't been fired. You would find muskets that had 2 or 3 loads in it that hadn't been fired. They found one that had been loaded 27 times and not fired. Once, okay, the guy got scared, dropped his rifle, or he got killed, fine. Maybe he didn't notice that it didn't fire and loaded it a second or third time. 27 times, the only explanation is that that guy stood there in the hell of that kind of war, kept loading his rifle, kept bringing it to his shoulder,
And didn't wanna
going
kill anybody.
bang, right?
Right.
They found the Prussian army, their marksmanship training rates, their hits rate was something like 90% in training, and it was like 3% in combat. In Vietnam, similar things. The hit rates for U.S. infantrymen was something like 10%. In training, much higher. In World War II, based on the work of, I should have prepared more, General Marshall? No.
But people don't want to kill each other.
People don't want to kill each other.
Yeah.
If you had 100 infantrymen in contact with the enemy, no more than 20 would even fire their weapons. The rest of the 80
Wow.
would find something else to do. They would run messages, they would tend to wounded, they would run ammo, they would help spot with a machine gun crew. Of the 20 that fired their weapon, something like 2%, 3% would look down their sights, identify a human target, and intentionally put a pill in that person. Similar to the natural rates of sociopathy and psychopathy in the general population.
So are you starting to piece at least some of this together as you're in Korea? And you're like, this is what I'm being turned into?
Yes, a little bit, but I didn't notice it. It was in Iraq. In Iraq, I had a moment of clarity. In Iraq, we were taking contact one day, and there were 4 people firing.
Real quick, before we get to so you're in Korea, and it's just like, what the fuck is this? Is it like an immediate just change of your job, and then just, okay, listen, you're done here, we're going to Iraq?
So what happened with me, okay, so I was in 2-9 infantry. In Korea, you do a 1-year tour.
Okay.
So my year came up, the battalion was out training, I was back in the barracks clearing, I went to Fort Benning, to 3rd Infantry Division.
Okay.
I was there, they had just gotten back from the invasion of Iraq. I was with them training for a year before we went back.
Okay.
1-9, my sister battalion, when they got back from the field, they said, guess what guys, pack up your shit, this isn't your station anymore, you guys are deploying to Iraq, and after that you're going somewhere else. I think they went to Fort Carson.
Okay.
So they shuttered the unit and sent them to Iraq. But for me, I went to a different unit, trained with them for a year, then went back to Iraq to Salmanbach,
Okay.
where Hussein was born, where his mythology started, where he forded the fucking Tigris to get away from the current regime when he was a kid.
Okay.
There were a lot of loyalists there. It was not, it wasn't a great place to be.
Okay. So go back to what you were saying with the
So-
moment in Iraq.
I was, you have different missions depending on the day, what we were doing. We were on a mounted patrol. I was a vehicle gunner. So I'm sitting on top of a Humvee behind a 50 cal, smoking cigarettes, waiting for the fucking thing to be over. We start taking contact.
Waiting for what to be over?
The mission, the
Okay,
patrol. We're just
okay,
we're gonna
okay.
be out for 6-7 hours driving around, looking at shit, searching houses, waiting for something to happen. Right?
Okay.
You get bored. It's an old saying that warfare is months and months of boredom punctuated by moments of sheer terror.
I've heard that,
Yeah.
and it makes more sense
Right.
when you say it in specific stories like this. But continue, please.
So I'm just sitting there, I'm up in the turret. We start taking contact, and we're moving. Guys get out to try to get on the ground. They're set up in this enemy set up in this not a bunker, but like a shitty mud dog building about 200 meters away. We finally identify them. I pull a 50 cal round, and I just start dumping rounds into this building.
Yeah.
So I don't. In my memory, it occurred to me then. I don't know that it did. It might have come to me later. But I'm sitting on top of a $500,000 Humvee, wearing $30,000 worth of equipment. The result of probably $1.8 million worth of training at that point, before I'm even paid, behind a $300,000 machine gun. You know what? That's exaggerating. Probably a $100,000 machine gun, maybe $50,000. Spitting rounds 600 a minute at $12.50 a round. At a group of kids who weren't going to make $3,000 between them their entire life had they survived that day. Okay? And then I got out and I started reading about Smedley Butler and War is a Racket, and I thought
That
about
night?
No.
Okay.
This was later on.
Okay.
And I just realized, wait a second. These people can't hurt us. You know, I lecture Delaware a couple times a year, and one of the things I always say is, you know, the Taliban, Al Qaeda, they want to raise the black flag of the caliphate over the White House, right?
Sure.
Great. I want to fuck Jennifer Lawrence.
Right.
Let's talk about things that are never going to happen,
Right.
that are outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Okay? These people, we came into their homes, we came into their cities and towns, we blew holes in their walls, we drug away their fathers and older brothers, we killed their wives and sisters and called it collateral damage. Of course they fucking hate us. They don't hate us for our freedom. They
Just
hate
because
us
you're fucking with me.
They hate us because we're evil. They hate
But
us-
you aren't. It's because of you know what I'm saying?
But where's the distinction?
Yeah. This is the same thing that Dwight said.
There was a. Do you watch Doctor Who?
Never watched it,
Okay.
but I know the.
There was a line a couple years ago that stuck with me, where they're running from some alien monster thing, and they're like they're evil, and the Doctor, who is this ancient supernatural being who has been around and fighting wars for 1,000 years, says almost nothing is evil, but almost everything is hungry, and the difference between evil and hungry doesn't matter when you're on the sharp end of the cutlery.
I dig it.
Okay, so yes, you're right. Me personally, no, I'm not. I don't consider myself an evil person. I have a level of empathy that hinders my daily life. Okay, but that doesn't matter because when the time came, I did my job.
So.
I did what they told me to do.
Right.
And even when I had a lieutenant that ordered me to take a detainee behind the wall and perform a mock execution so his buddy would talk. He didn't even ask me to actually kill this guy. He said, just go out, take him out there, tape his mouth shut, fire a couple rounds, and then come back.
Right.
I looked at him like, no, I'm not going to do that, sir. And he said, what do you mean? I'm like, that's against our ROE, that's against the law of land warfare, that violates Geneva, it's morally wrong, and when we put them both in the same fucking vehicle later on to go back to the fob, we've lost all credibility. Fuck you, sir, I'm not going to do it.
Damn.
I'm not going to Leavenworth for that shit. It's not going to happen. He goes, nobody's going to know. No, sir, they are going to know, because if you make me do this, I'm telling everybody. The first thing I'm doing is filing a complaint. I'm going to the sergeant major, I'm going to everybody, and I'm going to make sure everybody knows you did this. Because this is your career. I'm desperate to get out of here as soon as my number's up, as soon as I'm done my time.
At this
I'm
point,
going
how
to
much more time before your number's up?
That was my first tour, so I still had another 3 years.
God damn.
Fuck. But I didn't care. I knew at that point that I was not going to be the Army success story. I was not going to be a sergeant major. I was not going to.
But to be in that perspective and to know I got another 3 years in this shithole is fucked.
Well, I mean, I could have been killed at any moment, you know. And I have an issue with time. I have a thing where like it's difficult for me to remember exactly how long ago things were. The difference between 1998 and 2005.
So that's kind of a good situation in that
It
circumstance?
helps. There's also the fact that if it's more than 3 weeks away, it's not real. Like I have a real hard time dealing with the future.
Okay. So I have, okay. Two things. There's so much to talk because I'm trying to tie this into the whole policing thing.
We're getting there.
Good, because it's so tied in. But going back with University of Delaware, how did you? Why did they bring you in to speak? Keep going.
Okay.
Just checking on everything.
So I was brought in to speak when I got out of the Army. I continued to make things difficult for myself by marrying a woman that I shouldn't have.
Okay.
That she had borderline disorder. She was a victim of abuse. I don't blame her, but it was awful. So I went back to school. One of the things that I was going to do was I was going to finish my degree. Part of the reason I joined the Army was for that sweet, sweet GI Bill. So I got
Fuck
out.
yeah. Duh.
I got out.
I'm thinking about that. Yeah.
I'm going back to school. There was also the thing that I always felt like I lived in my dad's shadow.
Uh-huh.
My dad was a star athlete in high school, three-time Delaware wrestling champion,
Oh, wow.
blue gold football team, and I was never into sports or any good at it.
All right.
So he went to Delaware, didn't finish. So when I joined the Army, that was the first thing I did that he hadn't done. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back to the school we both went to, and I'm actually going to finish so that I can do the thing I'm supposed to do and do better than my father.
Yeah.
Because that's what my dad wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted his kids to do better than him.
Yes.
Okay. So I decided to become a history major.
Right. Yes.
I'm dealing with severe PTSD at this point. I have survivor's guilt. I'm faced with what I participated in and what I did, but I was still proud of it. I still had the disgruntled veteran hat. I was still wearing the moto shirts. I would still wear my field jacket all the time because at that point I didn't think I had any identity except as a veteran. That was the most interesting thing about me. So one of the courses I took was called Americans in the World with Dr. Guy Alchin.
Okay.
And we're sitting there a weekend and we're talking about Iraq, and he says that any killing that took place in Iraq after 2004 was a murder. And I was there in 2005. He knew I was there in 2005, and he said this to me. He said this to the group, but to me,
Jesus.
yeah, here's the thing, he's right.
But that's what's his aim? And like number one, you don't know what you're about to set off when you say some shit like that.
Well, okay, so Guy has experience with vets, right? The thing is, he took a calculated risk. He said a true thing, hoping that I wasn't going to fly off the handle and murder him. And in my head, I pictured like coming across the table and grabbing him.
Bruh,
Okay,
I wouldn't be mad at you.
but the thing is, he was right. I was very upset, and I called him on it, and he talked to me about it. And then when the class was over, he asked me to stay, and he talked to me about it more. And he gave me a stack of books.
You talk about poking a bear.
Okay, but wait, Guy, this little old man who looks like the old man from Up is one of my closest friends now.
I dig it, but I'm just saying.
I took his class every semester. I took one of his classes every semester the rest of the time I was in there. My first year after I graduated, I spent the next semester in one of his classes as like an unofficial TA. So he brings me in every semester to talk to kids about the American way of war, what it is, why we do it. He hooked me up with several people that have been influential. Ross Caputi, who was a former Marine who founded the Justice for Fallujah Project. Josh Heisel, who toured with Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young for a year, another former Marine. There was a reporter embedded with him who did a movie, a tour documentary for Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and said, hey, maybe you should see this. This guy plays guitar. This Marine I used to work with in an embed. Neil Young was very impressed, and so he brought this guy in. He toured with the Van Sant family for a while, very talented musician. Josh Heisel got me involved with Common Ground on the Hill Veterans Initiative a number of years ago. So Guy Alchin took a risk, and that risk has been very beneficial to me.
Okay.
It led me down a path to learn and to understand what was done to me, what I'd taken a part of, and realize that I can't sit here and say it wasn't my fault, because at any point I could have just dropped my rifle and sat down and said, send me to Leavenworth, I'm not doing this evil shit anymore. I determined in every moment that the risk of that was greater than the risk of continuing.
Okay.
And I was conditioned and I was scared. And for a lot of it, I really genuinely thought we were doing the right thing.
Yeah.
There's so many things at work with soldiers. We got told all the time, from basic training until the day I left, you guys are elite. You guys are better than your civilian peers who chose not to enlist.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, right. Because see, it's an all-volunteer army.
Sure.
Right? It's a mercenary army, okay? A professional army. Without a draft, that means that the conscientious objectors, people who have a problem, they don't have to serve. You can send a volunteer army on these wars of choice without consequence, and Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham, all these people, they can vote for it because they know their kids aren't going to be involved.
Sure.
They're not going to bear any of the cost. So, and then we joined the infantry, right?
Right.
The infantry, it's no way to live. It's a terrible way to live. So, one of the things they do to convince you that it's okay, in addition to giving you that fancy blue cord and the blue discs, it's all about pride. You guys are elite. You're the best of the best. You're better than the people who didn't enlist because you're taking that risk and you're making that sacrifice and you're bearing that burden. Not only that, you're better than the other guys who did enlist but decided not to do combat arms.
Right.
These pogass pat folks over here, the cooks, the fucking truck drivers, the knuckle draggers, fuck those guys. They're barely human. Civilians are subhuman. They don't know what you're going through. You're doing this for them. America's not at war. The Army's at war. America's at the mall.
Damn.
That sort of shit. Oh yeah.
Damn.
It happened all the time. So there's this thing.
How are you when you hear these things in that moment? Are you like, this is some bullshit? Are you like kind of buying into it at the point?
In the moment, I'm like, yeah, man, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm miserable. I'm sleeping on a hole in the ground, right? I can see my barracks, but we're deciding we're going to sleep out on this hole before we go to the field for 3 weeks. We're living miserable all the time because that's what we do. That's what we're asking people to do. There's this saying that the infantry is the last 50 meters of foreign policy, right?
Oh, wow.
And it's true. But then you realize that our foreign policy is terrible. It's not about defense. It's not about keeping us safe. It's about making money.
Yeah.
It's about securing oil rights. It's about securing American hegemony so that our companies can continue to sell.
So, this is one of the big questions that I've had. And just because of, naturally I will obviously gravitate towards people who think how I think.
Sure.
But the last guy I interviewed for the podcast was a Navy guy, and he basically holds your exact same position.
Sure.
After I'm done getting this one together, I'm going to be interviewing a police officer who generally will, fall in line with all of this thinking. So it's like, my question is, how did you get to where you are, and you have so many retired soldiers who are totally opposite from you in terms of how they see things? Like how dare they would be pissed at you right now for saying the shit that you would say. Like, you don't, you're.
Because.
And I agree with you.
Okay.
But how do they not see it? Is it just? I'll shut up.
Because it's privilege of any sort, right? It's invisible from within, right? White privilege. If you're not making an effort, if you're a white person, you can't see it, right? When I was in the Army, the whole time
But
I was
did
in
you
the
make an effort? Like, you saw it. I feel like you're just fucking smart.
Well, okay. The thing that happened to me was I got out of the Army and my life fell apart. I was really, really suicidally miserable for a long time. And at a certain point, I went to the VA and I started getting help, and they helped me as best they could, and they prescribed me a bunch of medications, and it took the edge off, but it made me numb.
Same story.
I wasn't happy.
Same old fucking story.
I'm in this terrible relationship where I'm isolated from my entire family. I ended up losing my job. I made a suicide attempt.
I didn't know that.
Half-hearted. It wasn't, I grabbed my pistol and I went up into my bedroom and I had it up to my head and I was trying to talk myself into it and out of it. My ex-wife came in and we ended up deciding that the decision I made in my head, and I still live with this, suicide's always an option. If I don't kill myself now, I can do it later. Like, I still have that choice, right? So let's put it off and see what we can do. So I ended up going to the psych ward in Coatesville, and I was up there for about 6 weeks.
Okay.
The VA psych ward, and it was a box of group therapy shit, and it's all vets, right?
It's all vets.
So I'm looking. I graduated college at this point, so I'm already kind of going down this path
Degree in history? History degree?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Major in history, minor in philosophy. I've read Grossman. I've read. I should have prepared better.
No.
I read a lot.
You're prepared more than anyone listening. Go ahead.
I read a lot about war, about trauma, about American foreign policy, our place in the world, what we're about. So I'm sitting there in Coachville doing the exercises, and I'm surrounded by these guys in their 60s and 70s who spent a couple of months to 3 years in Vietnam decades ago, and they're still wearing the Marine Corps shirt, wearing the Marine Corps hat, wearing their fatigue pants, putting hospital corners on their bed. They're still in that condition. I'm like, I'm not going to make it. If I continue in this, if this is my identity, I'm not going to make it.
It's the same thing. It's the same. Like, go ahead. It's so interesting.
It wasn't giving me value. The support that people got. Everybody has their identity. Everybody loves group identity. People go to church. I honestly believe it's not because of. I don't think anybody really believes religion if they're not being questioned. I think it's the sense of community, right? That's why the people who go out on missions, the people who go out and hand.
Yeah. I see them
They go out
in
and
my neighborhood
cross
often.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they think they've been sent out. They think they've been sent out to gain converts, but they haven't. The reason they do that, and they aren't aware of it, and the people who are sending them out aren't aware of it. That's just what they do in their church.
Sure.
The reason you do that is because if I put you out amongst the heathen, and you try to convert people, nobody's conducive to that. Nobody wants to hear it. They'll come to my door, and I'll sit and talk to them. My atheist ass will be like, well, let's talk. Let's cite chapter and verse, and I'll tell you why I don't believe this shit. People will be mean to them. People will spit on them. Then they go back to their group where they're welcomed with open arms, and they tell the story about how terrible everybody was to them. They're like, oh, that's awful, but now you're back home safe with us, where you can be yourself, where you can be trusted, where we know the truth. It's a brainwashing technique. It's reinforcement. The military does the same thing. We're part of the sacred brotherhood.
Right.
I gotta tell you, man, that band of brother shit has a shelf life. Okay? I don't fuck with most of the guys from my unit.
Okay.
We're done, right?
Okay.
We're done. We're done because of modern technology, because of Facebook. It's not a thing where I see you every 20 years at a reunion. I get maybe a phone call at Christmas time. Every day, I get to see who you are and what you think. And we talk every day.
So what's the difference?
The difference...
Because you're watching these dudes that you know serve with, and you're like, fuck you.
Well, okay. So education plays a lot into it. Now, I'm not saying these guys are dumb.
Okay.
Right? But what I'm saying is, look at Ben Carson. Okay, Ben Carson, gifted neurosurgeon,
Brain.
idiot. Everywhere else. Let's look at other things. Let's look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player in all time. He is a genius at basketball. Do we expect that to translate to
Politics.
to anything? To
No,
ping pong,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Just because you're an expert in a field, just because you're good at one thing, just because you're smart in one respect, doesn't mean you're grasping everything else. Now, I also think that the white supremacy, the white supremacism that is part of this country's DNA, that is internalized in every single one of us, not just white people, not just racists, everybody carries that, right? People are feeling threatened, right? If I go out and I do something terrible, think of the thing you're most ashamed of in your life.
Okay.
Now imagine, after having done that, you've done it in full view of your peers, and they're, good job, really proud of you. This thing that you did that you're deeply ashamed of is fucking super great. It is a moral action.
That's exactly how Dwight feels.
How do you process that, right? So you have two options. You can face it, or you can do the easier thing and say, you know what? I'm the one that's wrong. This feels wrong to me, but everybody else is telling me that it's right, so I'm just going to go ahead and accept it's right. I'm going to internalize this. Yeah, okay, I watched kids burn for no reason, but my freedoms, right? I think it's a staggering lack of empathy and an inability for critical thinking. Look at how we teach kids. Look at how schools are set up. Our schools are set up to train 19th century children to work in factories. Come here at this time, sit here, perform these rote maneuvers, respond to the bell, obey authority. That's what our school system is for. It isn't set up to create scholars. Look at what Jefferson said. Jefferson said that we should educate people until they're 13 to sift some gems from the rubbish. Right? Tim Wise. If you're not familiar with Tim Wise,
no, I am.
Okay. So Tim Wise gave a speech to the California Educators Federation a couple years ago.
Okay.
If you Google "education is liberation," Tim Wise, you'll see it. It's a blue background. He stands for 45 minutes and he talks. And one of the things he says, in addition to that, is there are no accidents, only precedents. People want to say that the system is broken. It's not.
It's working wonderfully.
The system is working exactly the way it's supposed to. Because
Yes.
let's get the police. Police, like soldiers, they're not here to protect you and me.
But so many police and so many of their family members would say, yes, they are, and you don't know what they deal with, and people are assholes.
I know what they deal with. The work of the modern day policeman is very similar to the work of the infantrymen overseas, right?
Yeah.
There's also there are stats and there are statistics, okay? Have you ever been robbed?
No.
No, never been robbed, never been burglarized? Okay, so, one, good for you. Proves that crime is not rampant. It's not fucking purge out there. But the thing is, look up the closure rates for criminal cases, and what you see is that half of murders go unsolved.
In the city, it's 90%.
Right.
But go ahead.
Nationwide, half of murders go unsolved. There are towns where there are 2 murders a year, so they're all being solved, and there's places like New York and Philly where a lot of it just doesn't happen. Property crimes, I think it's like a third of property crimes result in arrest. Rape, simple assault, okay? But, so cops are not good at that. They're not doing anything to prevent these crimes, and they're not catching the people responsible most of the time. Drug crimes, oh yeah, a lot of arrests there. If somebody gets evicted, who's doing that? It's the cops. The cops are trying to put you out of your house. Parking tickets, speeding citations, okay? Every police force in this country comes out of slave patrols,
Yep.
overseers. The Second Amendment, you're a gun guy.
Yes.
You like guns. That's
Relatively,
cool.
yes.
Yeah, I think guns are cool. I won't have them. I don't need them yet.
Mhm.
The next gun I pick up is going to be taken from a dead fascist.
Mhm.
Okay? Why do we have a Second Amendment? What's the purpose of the Second Amendment?
So I'm going to say my understanding at this point is that basically it's number one to overthrow tyranny, and then you have the hunting and all that kind of stuff, right?
So that's.
And I think we've talked about this, but let me see if I'm where you're going. It's based. So, isn't your position more or less that do not stop at tyranny and tyranny won't?
Okay. Well, that's true. But the point is, what is the point? What is the purpose of the Second Amendment? The idea that the purpose of the Second Amendment was to allow the average citizen to give them the power to overthrow their government is ridiculous. No one ever seriously made that argument until the mid-1970s.
Okay.
The original text of the Second Amendment allowed for a federal militia that
Right.
could only be called up in response to foreign aggression.
Mhm.
Okay, so a well-regulated militia
Right.
being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay.
So, and people twist that all kinds of ways.
Okay.
And I don't know what the real
In the
legal
Bill of Rights,
understanding
in the
is.
Bill of Rights, how many times is the word state used?
Oh, I don't know.
Once.
Okay.
In the Second Amendment, the security of a free state. When at the convention, originally they said federal militia that we can only call up for foreign aggression because we don't want a standing army because we think standing armies are a bad idea. Okay.
Right.
Southern delegates wouldn't have it. Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death,
Right.
and George Mason of Virginia, primarily, said, look guys, we've got a big slave population and we're having this problem where the poor white folks who we should be employing to work our fields are looking at our slaves and saying that oh shit, this is not fair, and they're rising up. A slave rebellion, a popular rebellion, can't be considered foreign aggression. We need to maintain our state militias so that we can control our slave populations.
Mhm.
Okay? The state militias was every white man over the age of like 16,
Mm-hmm.
and their only purpose, their primary purpose, was as overseers and slave catchers. Okay? The Second Amendment exists so that the individual states can put down a popular insurrection. Okay? Now, let's talk about you have your militia playing in the woods in ranger drag, cosplaying as soldiers because you're gonna fucking overthrow a tyrannical government.
It's never gonna happen.
One, if the government comes to take your guns, it's gonna be the cops, right? I thought Blue Lives
Oh, I
Matter.
figured at this point, yes. But I figured at this point it wouldn't be the cops coming to take my guns. It would be basically the National Guard. If it's that,
Fine.
but it's going to be the state.
These same people are always support the troops, Blue Lives Matters. Who do you think it's not going to be Nancy Pelosi coming up to your house to take your guns?
Right.
Okay? It's going to be agents of the state. Now, when we were in Iraq, those motherfuckers were well armed. I get it. You have your Barbie doll AR-15, and the ACOG is the Beetle, and the foregrip is the Malibu Dream House. You've got all the accessories on your shit.
Got you.
Okay? I get it. Maybe you've got laser sight, that's cool. The Iraqis had belt-fed heavy machine guns. They had quad 50s. They had fucking Burnhams.
And they couldn't do shit.
Right. We balled those motherfuckers up every time. Every time there was a stand-up fight, they had explosives. Those were always effective. The IEDs were what fucked us up.
Okay.
You don't have 155 shells that you can daisy chain on the side of the road. You have a 223 rifle, and you don't know what blood smells like. Oh man, I'm waiting for the revolution. Motherfucker, we said stay in the house for a couple weeks and you couldn't do it.
Right,
Okay?
right.
Get off your shit. The NRA, well the NRA is a gun rights organization.
No, I know,
they're
yeah.
not. They're a lobbying group for the firearms manufacturer.
Yep.
Okay? They want to keep you scared. It's all about making money.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us back to the police.
Mm-hmm.
You were at the protests
Yeah.
in Wilmington. I was at the protests here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I saw.
Okay.
I saw at a protest led by PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation.
Okay.
We started off by the police station on Arch Street.
Okay.
We marched down to Independence Hall,
Okay.
then up towards the Art Museum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The road was blocked off the Art Museum on 22nd Street, so the protest was funneled by the police
Yes.
down 22nd Street.
Same thing in Wilmington.
So as soon as you get down 22nd Street, what's right there? 676.
Right.
Okay? So, a group of protesters, not all of them, but a couple hundred probably, went down to block off 676.
Right. Same
Okay.
we did 95.
Okay, so
Not
what
me.
happened? What happened when they got on 95?
Really, ultimately nothing. It was just a giant, because again, Wilmington has been a little bit less, but they shut shit down for a little bit. It was a real pain in the ass. The cops showed up, and eventually they just dispersed.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Right. And then traffic got on, people got about their business.
Same
Here's what
old
happened in Philly. I'm there with my girlfriend. There's a curfew in effect. I don't like crowds in the best situation. There's a pandemic going on. I don't want to be here.
Yep.
I feel like I have to do this. I have to take part. I've got to stand up.
Okay.
So when we get over there to this overpass, we're over the bridge. I look at Nicole and I'm like, okay, look. And we talked about this earlier. I'm not like the man makes the rules, but in a situation like this where there's danger, I'm like, we're gonna do what I say.
Sure.
Okay.
Because you know this game. Yeah.
So I'm looking down, I'm like, we're not going down. That is a fucking kill zone. You go down there, there is an elevated position on either side, there is nowhere to go. We're not going down there. We're gonna stand up here. Okay?
Mhm.
So I'm up on the 22nd Street Bridge, looking down. A mess of cops on bikes come up and block the road.
Right.
Now I'm looking at this, I'm hearing the chat on the radio. I'm
You
seeing
realize
the
they're
show up.
basically-
I'm like, Nicole, look,
Yep.
we're an hour away from home. We've got an hour walk.
Mhm.
Curfew's coming up.
Mhm.
I don't want to give these people any excuse to fuck with us.
Mhm.
We've shouted at these people. We've done our bit for today. Let's go home and sit with our dog.
Yeah.
She says, okay, fine. I walk up to the cops. I'm like, hey, can I go this way? I'm ready to go home.
Mhm.
They're like, yeah, sure. I make it perhaps 100 meters,
Mhm.
and it's boom, 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 boom.
And what the
boom,
fuck
boom,
are you
boom.
doing at this point in your own head? Are you still maintaining clarity, or are you just?
Oh, no. At that point, yes. I'm looking around like, okay, I knew it. Let's pick up the pace. Let's get a little faster. About 20 seconds later, my eyes are burning. And I'm like, they're using tear gas.
Yep.
They're tear gassing everybody. There was no warning.
Mhm.
There was no call to disperse.
Yeah, that's the difference. So in Wilmington, it was weird because
Wilmington police didn't get trained by the IDF.
what does that mean?
The Israeli Defense Force, they're the ones that developed that technique. And Philadelphia is one of the departments that is trained by former IDF agents and Dave Grossman's Warrior Policing Initiative. Okay, so they corral these. It's called kettling or corralling.
Yeah.
They blocked off the road and put them that way, knowing that a bunch of them are going to go down there and block traffic. Well, now there's something we can do. Now they're fucking with our money, right? There was no call to disperse, okay? There was just a rain of fucking tear gas, people scrambling. Now,
there was a call to disperse in Wilmington.
Right, but there was no warning.
And I knew, to the point where not only was there a call to disperse, but people that I know who work in politics, where they basically got the word like, yo, get out now because they're about to tear gas.
Right.
And then I remember, because I'm watching the live feed from Facebook, like I remember watching the feed, it's like, dudes, leave now because tear gas is coming.
What's the point of using tear gas?
To make them disperse.
To disperse the crowd.
So if you make it so they can't
they're
disperse.
in a kill zone,
right.
They can't leave. There's nowhere for them to go.
So what is that, just torture basically?
Right.
We're just here to fuck you up.
Fuck you, that's why.
Yeah.
So, okay, but let's go by their logic. Well, we needed to get traffic flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're not going to sit there for days. They didn't bring provision, they're going to go. But what you did was you tortured those protesters. You gassed every driver on 676 there, okay? You got a baby in that car, that baby got tear gassed. They gassed all of Center City. We're blocks and blocks away. These kids come up on bicycles. They went to the cops for help. Cops told them to fuck off. They're crying. They've been tear gassed, right? So we're sitting there pouring water on these kids' asses because we don't have milk.
Right.
Tell them what to do. Tell them, hey, take your hoodie off. Don't bring it in your house. Fucking throw that shit directly in the washer. If you don't have a washer, hose it off. Don't bring it in your house. Trying to tell these kids how to work. It was just about punishment. Okay?
Right.
And that brings me back to the entire issue that we're having now. Okay?
You're already under
George Floyd got murdered slowly over 8 minutes and 46 seconds while a man stood on his neck. Now, have you watched all the videos?
What do you mean?
Well, there are videos of the entire thing. There's a surveillance
like all the
camera.
different people watching it? No.
No. The surveillance camera from when they pulled Floyd over.
Right, no.
Accused of passing a bad check.
Right.
A bad bill.
Yep.
Right, a counterfeit bill.
Yep, it's like 20.
Accused of.
Yeah.
A fake 20.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy about it. He didn't want to go to jail. He hadn't done anything wrong. He protested, but he didn't resist. They got him in cuffs.
Yep.
They got him in the back of the car.
Yep.
They were beating him in the back of the car. Then they pulled him out of the car in cuffs, put him on the ground, stood on his neck in the middle of the day, in full view of witnesses, on camera, people pleading, hey, you're killing him, get off his neck. He's crying for his mother. And this jackass, this sociopath in a badge, just and his buddies are sitting there, everybody back up, nothing to see here, just murdering a man.
Conditioning.
Conditioning. Warrior policing. Better to be judged by 6 than carried by 12. Also, this black dude didn't do exactly what I said when I said it. He failed to respect my authority. Now he's dead. Sandra Bland. She's dead in her mugshot. That mugshot is a picture of her body. Her arrest was bullshit.
Right.
Okay?
No, yeah.
So all of this is the same thing it's always been. We're the police. We can do whatever the fuck we want. This guy, Arbery? No. The guy in Atlanta.
Arbery, yeah.
Arbery.
Yeah.
Okay. He is asleep in a car in a Wendy's parking lot.
Oh, no, the other guy in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget his
Rashad.
name. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know how many times I pulled over to sleep it off when I've left a bar or something, drunk, and decided, you know what, I'm not going to make it home, let me be safe.
Yeah.
And the cops have come up and said, hey, you okay? Yeah, man, I'm good. I just, don't feel like driving right now. I'm just trying to rest for a little bit. Okay, cool. Maybe, hey, can I see your ID? Yeah, sure, here's my ID. All right, look, just, stay here. They could have taken him home. They could have done anything.
He asked for an Uber.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't have to take him in.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Didn't have to be an arrest.
Yep.
The man's drunk. He had been to prison before, right? He had a record. Okay. Didn't want to go back.
Yep.
Nobody wants to go back. This cop's fucking with him. He doesn't have to. All right? So he resists arrests because he's drunk. Not the best option. I understand. But again, this is a situation that the police manufactured.
Yep.
Okay? So,
But he shouldn't have been doing that in the first place.
Okay,
He
fine.
shouldn't have been drunk.
fine. Whatever. The point is, the cops got embarrassed. There's 2 cops that they couldn't restrain this drunk man, got their taser taken, he fired the taser, and then he ran away. Now again, they've identified this guy. They've got his car, they know where he lives, they know who he is. Just let him run.
Nope.
Okay? Taser's not lethal force, right? That's why you all are allowed to use it. No. So they shot him in the fucking back as he ran. I don't know about you, but a back getting smaller is not a threat to me. This isn't a rapist. This isn't a serial killer. So finally, after 400 years, the right thing happens, and within days, charged with felony murder.
Mm-hmm.
What do the police do?
Quit.
We quit. How unfair. You're actually going to hold us responsible. The same people that say, well, if you
But
do
they'll-
anything wrong, you got nothing to worry about. They're like, if we can't continue to murder unarmed people, we're not going to do our
The
job.
craziest part about Atlanta is how many black people and cops are in Atlanta. Because we didn't even talk about the 3 cops that pulled the 2 college students out of the car. It's like, that's kind of why I asked. I don't understand, and I guess it has to be. I'm based on this conversation alone. A large part of it has to be conditioning. Like,
Yeah, of course.
Because how do you not look at a college kid? And they weren't even like, they were just like dorky college kids. And it's like, that's the enemy? Like, you're going to yank him up? Like, that's a kid.
You were never unarmed if blackness is seen as a weapon.
You are never unarmed. Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
If black skin is a weapon to these people, right?
Right.
Because of racist lies designed to further white supremacy.
But there were black cops that pulled him out. That's where it gets me even crazier.
I read an article, an essay by a former cop who, I wish I could remember the guy's name, but he started off talking about, first, all cops are bastards. Yes, even your dad the cop, even your uncle the cop, even your best friend the cop, even me. I was a cop, I was a bastard. And he
You
talked
were
about
an army cop, or you just saying in
No,
general?
that's what this guy
Yeah,
said.
yeah, okay,
This guy
okay,
said,
cop.
I was not.
Yeah.
The thing about military police, to be an MP, the first thing is you have to hate fun, right? So
Forget it.
it's-
Go ahead.
No, the point I'm making is that he says that in the academy there were a group of cadets that would bully other cadets, intentionally scuff their shoes before inspection, make racist jokes. Once a week, you're allowed to anonymously, hey, what's going on? What do you think? Is there anything we should be aware of? So he reported these cadets. His instructors outed him to these cadets. Said, hey, look at this little bitch ass. Okay.
Conditioning.
You know the phrase that's a few bad apples.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What's that whole phrase?
Spoils the bunch.
A few bad apples spoil the bunch. So you have a barrel full of apples, and you have 3 bad apples in with the bunch. The bunch becomes spoiled. You can't reach in and pull out the 3 bad apples now. You've spoiled the bunch. The whole bunch has to go away. Okay? So these cops, they don't care. If you're agreeing to enforce the law, regardless of whether the law is just or not, that's not noble.
I will say, just in a little bit of a conversation that we had walking over here, it seems to me, and I could be wrong, but like one thing that you could view as positive coming from your dad is that individualism that he instilled in you might have given you the courage to be like, fuck you, when the dude told you to do the fake execution.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
But that guy, see, look, that guy lived next door to me. Like, okay, I was able to do that, and I also didn't care, and I knew I wasn't going to be a career soldier.
Right. But isn't that where we can start to see maybe some change, or it's just like...
Sure. But is a whistleblower in the police force going to be rewarded?
No.
What happens to the cop who stands up and says, hey, this other cop is pulling these people over for the wrong reason, right? We see what happens. The cops in Atlanta quit. I got people I used to serve with.
In Buffalo, same shit.
Yeah, right. You shove an old man to the ground. Guys, you're not the fucking brute squad. That's not the idea. The idea is, and here's the problem, we have law enforcement officers, okay?
Enforce the law.
Right. That's not about keeping you safe.
Right.
That's about enforcing the law and maintaining the status quo.
And again, because I'm trying to make sure that I'm following you and that I'm sorting through this all, like, what percentage of that behavior is conditioning to you? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the other thing this guy said is that a big portion of academy training is watching dash cam videos of police getting ambushed and killed. And it's put into you.
It's conditioning too.
Yeah, it's conditioning.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, being a police officer in this country isn't one of the top 15 most dangerous jobs.
Yep.
Okay? Look at policing the world over. Cops in Finland haven't killed anybody in 10 years.
Yep.
And I said this to somebody, I shared this, they're like, oh, well, Finland's much smaller than America.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Then let's control for that. Let's compare the...
Per capita, basically, right?
Let's dumb it down for people. Okay, Finland has a population of about 5.5 million people.
Okay.
You know what else has a population of about 5.5 million people? Minnesota.
What state? Right.
Colorado. So
Right.
let's look at these areas. Let's look at Manhattan.
Yeah.
Let's look at it per capita.
Yeah.
But the point is, these cops, I understand there are bad actors out there, right? And I get it that there are people who are comfortable with violence, and you need to have a constabulary. I said that wrong.
Dude, that's funny though.
There need to be people that are entrusted with the monopoly of the use of force, right? Because there are people, a very small number of people, that are willing and eager to break the social contract and use violence and use force to take other people. Okay, bet. A guy with a gun is not the ideal solution for every problem. That's what we're talking about with defund the police.
So that's exactly what I wanted to get to, and that's perfect. So where do you think, how do we fix the problem?
Okay.
Is it just a defund? Is it get rid of them altogether? Is it like, I'm in my head, so this is my opinion right now, and I'm way less educated than you on it for a lot of different reasons. But to me, and just tear it apart, I'm not arguing at all,
Sure.
is why don't we actually cut the amount of police, but raise standards and pay them more?
I agree.
Oh yeah? Okay, look at me!
Do you know what percentage of the municipal budget in Wilmington goes to the police department?
Not a lot.
It's like 50%.
I thought, okay, that's actually what I was thinking, but that's 50% is a lot, right?
So you have an entire city. Philadelphia is a city of 1.7 million people. Something like 51% of the budget
And it has to sustain
goes
itself.
to the police force.
Right.
Okay. Cops don't get paid a lot.
Right.
So where's that money going?
The state, or the city.
Going to equipment.
Equipment, is that
Going to
expensive?
equipment.
Right.
Wilmington, I don't know if they, but I mean, it's these
They're militarized pretty
you
well
have
at this point.
APCs.
Yeah,
You
no,
have
we have nice tanks and all kinds of
ARs,
shit
You have all of this equipment. These
that these guys are demanding because we need
yeah.
it to be able to,
You don't need it.
I know, I'm just saying.
The 533 program, where decommissioned military equipment goes to the police.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Department of Defense gifts these vehicles to the police, but there's a maintenance contract that goes with them. These vehicles are expensive to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about. It is about making sure that there is money going to these defense contractors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so maybe what we do is we take the police force and we disarm 80% of them, right? You're going to have pepper spray, you're going to have a stick, you're going to have a taser.
Isn't that closer to how like London does it?
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah.
Where policemen aren't murdered in the streets. It doesn't happen, right? Now we have a lot more guns here. We have a much more dangerous country. We have this myth of the rugged individualist, the gun fetish. It's a problem. But, so, okay, look, first of all, let me preface this by saying that I wait tables, okay? I'm a 40-year-old vet with a significant mental illness, okay? You can't expect me to have all the answers, but here's what I'm thinking.
But your brain is very sharp, dude, and you're also very well versed.
You can ban the chokehold, right? The 8 can't.
Didn't they ban it in New York though?
That's the thing.
Right.
Right. If
And that's what I'm, so, like, I saw, like, one of the, like, everyone was celebrating in Delaware that, like, we're gonna ban chokeholds. And I'm trying to recall, because I don't read as much as I should, but I was like, I'm 99% sure that they were already fucking banned in New York. And Eric Garner got choked the fuck out.
The chokehold was.
So who gives a shit?
Right. So if you can, okay, shooting somebody in the back as they're running away from you, that's already against the law too, and it happened.
Right.
Breonna Taylor was asleep, right? So you can ban the chokehold all day. That's great. I'm glad you do it. But are you going to prosecute cops who employ chokeholds in the future? Okay. So there need to be rules, and one of the rules that I think is a fucking no-brainer if your mission is to protect people and uphold the public trust. Under no circumstances should police ever be allowed to initiate violence. Okay? You are never allowed to shoot first. Why? Because as it is now, you signed up for this job knowing that it requires a firearm, knowing that it requires you to expose yourself to an amount of danger. You've got training, you've got a radio, you've got body armor, you've got a car, you've got cameras, you've got the whole weight of the state. You have every advantage. You can take 15 seconds to wait.
Yep.
We also know that people aren't accurate with guns usually. Cops are trained. Cops drill. Cops do marksmanship training. Most people don't. Most people, when they fire a gun, most people, when faced with lethal violence, learn to their surprise that they are conscientious objectors.
Yep.
They can't do it.
Yep.
That's why we are trained soldiers. We are drilled constantly for hours. It used to be that marksmanship training was done in PT gear on a nice sunny day, laying prone, shooting at a giant target 500 meters away. Okay?
Right.
They realized that wasn't producing killers. So what we do now is Skinnerian, B.F. Skinner, Skinnerian conditioning.
Yeah.
We go
So how do you do it with that?
on a range day. You are in full kit.
Okay.
Right? You're in all your warfighting shit. Your infantry guys, we were camoed up. Okay. You march to the range. You do a forced march to the range. They PT the shit out of you before you get in your hole.
So you're heavy breathing.
You are sweating. Your eyes are stinging. You're breathing heavy. You are in the conditions you're going to be in contact in combat. You
Makes
get down
sense.
in your hole.
Yeah.
Okay. There's still you still got the range officers. They're still accounting for safety.
Right.
You load your magazine. You have human-shaped targets pop up at set intervals. If you hit that target, it goes down.
Right.
Instant feedback.
Right.
If you do well, you are praised and rewarded.
Right.
If you do poorly, you are punished and chastised. It's conditioning.
Yep.
We do reflexive fire drills for hours where you just ready, up, pop, pop.
Yeah.
Ready, up, pop, pop.
But it's
Turn left.
it's funny. So I'm wearing this goddamn Muay Thai thing. It's the exact same thing.
Right.
Like you throw a jab,
Oh,
jab,
no.
jab, jab, jab,
Right.
jab, jab. So that when you throw the jab under pressure, you almost don't have any other way to throw the jab.
Right.
Right.
And so when you are in contact, when
Yep.
you're in theater, you kill as a reflex.
Right.
You pop up, you see a target, and you just think, oh fuck, I just shot a guy. Okay? There is psychological conditioning. But why does the grass grow?
What do you mean?
Blood, bright red blood. Why is the sky blue? Because God loves the infantry.
Yeah.
Fucking, it is left, right, left, right, left, right, kill. Left, right, you know I will.
Yeah.
Fucking, there is no room for weakness. There is no room for nuance. There is no room for thought. You are a killer.
Yeah.
That is what you do. That is
Right.
your job. When we deployed, my sergeant major, my first sergeant, who was a good man, hard man, still a good man, he said to us, there are plenty of soldiers and units in this country that their mission is to dig ditches and build hospitals and set up schools and win hearts and minds. That's not our job.
Right.
Our job is to clear ground for those units. Our job is to find, fix, and destroy the enemy. That is what we do. Okay? So it's all about conditioning. So now you've got Grossman and this warrior policing bullshit where you're training cops and conditioning cops to see the places they patrol as hostile territory.
So some of that philosophy, how much, you can't give me a percentage, but it seems like a lot of that philosophy is for no other good reason, possibly, than to feed the farmers business.
Well, I mean, a lot of it.
Right?
Yeah.
And then all of it's just, and then how to maintain control.
Like, the thing is, getting back to what I said earlier, people figure out what works a lot of times before they figure out why. So let me be as charitable as I possibly can.
All right.
Okay. There are more guns in this country than people, right? And something like only 40%, 35% of Americans own guns. Most people have a lot of them.
Right.
Okay? If you watch primetime TV for a week, you're going to see a dozen gun battles between police and armed criminals. You watch cop movies. I mean, Riggs and Murtaugh in Lethal Weapon 1, they fired more rounds than most departments will fire in a whole year. Okay? So there's this perception that police work is very dangerous and there's barbarians at the gate, and that's not an accident. That's by design. One of Grossman's things is that there's three types of people in the world. There's wolves, sheep, and sheepdogs, and like 98% are sheep, and 1% are wolves, 1% are sheepdogs, and you're a cop, you're a sheepdog. And to a sheepdog and a wolf look pretty much the same.
Right.
Well, that's a horrible philosophy. I mean, in reality, I think there's two types of people. There are people capable of nuance and introspection and recognizing shades of gray and people who think there's only two types of people in the world, right? You can't break people down that way. But if that's your mindset, if that's your base premise.
That's how you set up your system.
And let's examine that a little bit, okay? What is the purpose of a sheepdog?
To guard the sheep.
To guard the sheep. And what is the purpose of a wolf?
To eat.
To survive, right?
Sure, all right.
What's the purpose of a sheep? To be shorn and slaughtered for consumption.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that you're not. Sheepdogs don't protect the sheep because they want the sheep to thrive. Sheepdogs don't protect the sheep because they want the sheep to do well and live their best life. They protect the sheep from the wolves, so the person who owns the sheep can shear them or slaughter them for meat. So like.
So, just in terms of, this is bottom line. How have you had fireworks in your neighborhood over the past? And how's that been going in your neighborhood?
Man, okay. So like, how is it affecting me?
No, I'm curious about that too. But so bottom line is, and I made a post about this earlier, is it seems at this point to me like there's some kind of a really creepy coordination of all this fireworks stuff going on, to the point where last night I was fed up with it and I started trying to figure out, I was watching our Facebook page for the Civic Association, and long story short, I called the non-emergency line to say, can you guys check it out, because I found out that there was like a random, there are reportings of a random like white car that was just no one knew from the neighborhood that was like setting off fireworks and kind of disappearing. Like I knew there were kids also, but I wasn't gonna call the cops on kids. But it's like no one that anyone could recognize who was actually setting off fireworks last night was anyone that anyone knew. So I was like, this is some weird shit. And then I woke up this morning and I go to my Morehouse Spellman feed, and everyone in all cities across the fucking country like, yo, what the fuck is up with these goddamn fireworks? And on top of that, someone else, I think it was like an EQ, some Russian name, the guy was like, hey, I think he was in New York or a city way outside of where I am, who was like, be on the lookout for cars that no one recognizes dropping off fireworks and setting shit off. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
that's interesting. I hadn't heard that.
This was like literally over the past less than 24 hours. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, do you think the cops are like trying to set some shit off, or like just being like, fuck you, I'm not going to respond, you need us?
It doesn't have to be the cops, right?
Right.
It could be anybody.
Some antagonist.
Here's my thing.
Okay.
I'm not contacting the police for anything unless I absolutely have to.
And what would you have to contact them for from your end, right?
If I'm in a car accident, right?
Sure.
To go to the insurance company, there has to be a police report.
Yeah.
So I've got to involve.
But send me an ambulance and a fireman.
Okay. If I witness a violent crime in progress, all right, at that point I got to call the police.
But I feel like you...
That's never going to happen, right? That's not going to happen. I live in Philadelphia, not fucking pandemonium. The city's not that violent.
But plus I feel like if you're calling, you're also going to try to help out. I just feel like that's your... So it's like, hey, yo, can you come get this motherfucker, but I'm here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
There was a car accident right outside my house.
Right.
Yesterday.
Right.
I grabbed my phone and went downstairs to make sure everybody was okay. I'm not calling the cops. Not my responsibility. Nobody was hurt. If somebody had been hurt, okay, 911, let's get an ambulance. But somebody else had already taken care of that. I understand that if I call the cops, I'm putting somebody's life in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So the fireworks, I'm not a huge fan.
Right.
But here's what I know. Pop, pop,
You know the difference.
pop. That's fireworks. Gunshots are either just pop or pop, 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 pop. Okay? A gun battle doesn't sound like somebody... A firearm... Bullets sound different depending on which end of the muzzle you're at. Right?
Sure.
If you're shooting a gun, that is a very different sound than if it's coming at you. And if I'm 100 meters away, you're going to recognize that distinction between the rounds that are flying away from you or towards you.
Okay.
Right? It's louder. I know the difference
Okay.
at this point between gunshots and fireworks.
Right.
I hear fireworks, I'm not calling the cops.
Right. So
not involving anybody.
no, I mean, so from my end, just with the fireworks, I wasn't ever concerned about I was never concerned about gunshots.
Right,
It's just
right.
not my neighborhood. It's just like I need to fucking sleep, and
Sure.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I knew it was kids or a neighbor, I would be like, hey, I wouldn't call the cops because I'm like, hey kid, can you please just put them away? Or a neighbor, can
Right.
you please just da-da-da-da? But the fact that it was like some foreign car that no one could rouse, like, you know what, I'm not touching this shit.
If I wanted to create a conflict in a neighborhood, and if I wanted the police to show up, especially now, right? If I wanted to create a confrontation, that's probably sort of that would be a tactic.
Yeah,
To
and it's
go out
happening in
there.
every fucking city. Like, I'm way off in conspiracy theory, but then like,
Look,
it's
so
crazy.
We were talking earlier before we started about the shit with the Columbus statue at Marconi Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got involved in that accidentally. I walked my dog.
Right.
We walked down past it. So I believe the first time we were walking back to our apartment, right? We noticed there was a crowd when we were walking down. We were on the other side of the street, and walking back, there were a group of guys there, and my girlfriend started, just pulling out her camera, like, oh God, look at these assholes. About a dozen guys, and somebody came up and was like trying to hand us something or trying to talk to us, and he was clearly defending the statue. I didn't want anything to do with it.
Nice.
So I'm like, no, I'm good, man. We don't need anything. And they start, this guy keeps talking, and he's starting to get a little bit aggressive. And so now I'm not paying 100% attention to my dog. I walk past another dog, she snaps, and now it's, fuck you, dog, we'll kill you. I'm like, okay, what the fuck was that about? So I just kept moving, right? The next day, we're going on the walk again. And now there's a much, much bigger crowd. Now, I remember what the guy said. The guy said, you guys here for the protest? I'm like, what protest? Oh, apparently there's a bunch of Antifa coming down to fuck with the statue. And I'm like, I don't think that's a thing. Oh, you don't think that's a thing? Well, we heard it's a thing. And then the shit with the dog, right? So one of the things that I know for a fact is going on is Proud Boys,
Yes.
Bugaloo Boys, these other right-wing groups, in an attempt to stoke fear and resentment, are saying things like, hey, we're BLM and we're coming to South Philly to fuck with your neighborhood. People buy it. Okay, so this is day one. I go by the next day, and I hear these people, they're angry, they're shouting, and I walk over, and there's a group of like 5 teenagers, one black kid with like Darth Maul contacts in, and 4 white girls.
Oh, fuck.
And one girl who was darker, like she may have just been tan, I don't know.
Either way.
She was in police custody because they were arguing with these middle-aged men. One of these middle-aged men shoved her to the ground, and the cops grabbed her. They let her go eventually.
They let her go.
Yeah, the cops
Let her go.
Right.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Some of these cops are talking to these guys on first name basis. These are men.
They're older than us.
The first day there was a guy. I should have
Like-
focused it first. This guy, he was in full Ranger drag. He had the AR, he had the balaclava, he had the tack vest.
Do you think there's any chance that he's an extra soldier?
I couldn't say. I mean, yeah, there's a
It's
chance.
possible. Okay,
Of course, it's
go ahead.
possible. It's definitely possible.
Okay.
Just my intuition. If he was a soldier, he probably wasn't combat arms. He was probably some soft skill guy. But he definitely could have been. That doesn't really matter. The point is, he's not a soldier now. I fucking hope. But he's standing there with an AR-15 over a statue, right? So the second day, I go over to these kids trying to prevent violence. I'm like, hey, look, I get it. You guys are fired up, but you're not going to win. You can't out-violence these people. These are middle-aged men, mostly. There were some women in there. There were some younger people. There weren't like teenagers, but these are people with bats and clubs and golf clubs and pieces of limbs looking for a fight, right? The riot squad shows up. They're looking at us, okay? So they put the barriers up, and they put a couple 100 meters, or a couple 50 meters between us. And these people are up there grabbing their dicks. These girls, they're mouthing off. Oh, you're pedophiles, we're little girls. They're like, oh yeah, you want some of this, don't you? Don't you? Oh, where's your parents at? Blah, blah, blah.
Like, it's just... I saw the video, they were older than me, and I cannot imagine behaving that way. On any side of the aisle. Like, I don't care if that I don't care if the KKK showed up right the fuck now and they put a border across here and there were two 15-year-old KKK girls going fuck you nigger. I'm not gonna be like yo hold. I'm like I wouldn't. That's not human.
Also,
Like
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Philly has an open container law, and these people they're drinking.
Yeah.
They've got beers. They're getting themselves fired up,
Yeah.
which coincidentally was always a big thing with the brown shirts. There was a lot of drinking involved, getting these guys fired up. So we're separated. We're on this side, and I like my instinct is to go home.
right.
Right? Like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use my privilege to get the fuck out of the situation.
Listen,
But these kids are still here.
that's where it gets so hairy now, dude.
And I'm trying to, I'm telling them, like, dude, look, these guys,
Please.
they're trying to get your goat. You're angry. I get that. Here's what you do. You tell your story. You put this shit on Facebook. You put this shit on Insta. You put this shit on TikTok. Whatever.
Get
you
these
fucking shit in
motherfuckers
their mouth.
facial
Put this
recognize
shit
who
on-
is that
well,
dude?
you don't need facial recognition. Just here's their pitch.
Yeah, but let's get this motherfucker fired. Like, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. I'm wary of using like facial recognition software.
I dig it. I dig it.
You know, look at this guy. This is what they're about. Maybe let's shame these people. Let's make these people ashamed. But you're not going to win with violence. And the cops show up and they're looking at us like we're the problem.
Yeah,
So
and why the fuck is that?
So we're separated.
I know why, but it's like, damn.
We're separated, right? There is about 50 meters between the barrier. They put the barrier up where the line was and then pushed these eye ties back, right?
Okay.
You guys stand over here, and they put up police tape. They were out of barriers. So I'm looking around, and there are people on our side that are occasionally yelling things at them. They're constantly yelling at us. And I look around, I'm like, I'm sorry, can I have everybody's attention, please? How many of you are here on purpose? How many of you came out here because there was a demonstration? And like, because nobody's dressed for protest. They're like, we're defending this statue. Like, we don't have chains. We don't have heavy equipment. We don't have rope. I'm walking my dog. Go back to your neighborhood. Get out of here. You're not from here. That's when I learned, and this is like one of the things that I've been blinded by that I should have known. I didn't realize that there were people that were proud of the fact that they're gonna die within a kilometer of the place they were born. You've never lived anywhere else, and that's a point of pride for you. I'm like, this is my neighborhood. I walked here. I'm looking at all these cars with Trump stickers on here. I walked here. Yeah, okay, I wasn't born here. You're right. I moved here fairly recently.
Interesting.
But this is not your neighborhood. This is our neighborhood. This is a public park. It's about our heritage. Bro, there's a statue of Guglielmo Marconi. I don't know how to say his first name. The inventor of wireless telegraphy, the inventor of radio communication.
Be happy with him.
He's an Italian guy. There's a statue of him right over there.
Keep it.
Nobody's talking shit. This isn't about your Italian heritage. Also, minor quibble. Columbus wasn't really Italian.
That's what I was about to say.
Columbus-
I was trying to remind myself about that.
Columbus
This motherfucker
died-
wasn't Italian.
Columbus died 300 years ago before there was an Italy. He was from Genoa, right? Genoa was a city-state along the Italian peninsula. But Columbus didn't think he had any kinship with somebody from Rome or Venice or Sicily, you know? Because that's not how things work. The only reason Columbus is an American icon is because Italians got tired of being treated like black folks and brown folks by white people. So hey, Columbus was an Italian. He discovered this whole shit. Never mind the fact that he
Never was here. But they don't know that, and it's like where's that line between?
They're screaming, read a book.
Oh,
Bro.
fuck! I was trying to
Bro.
help. I was trying to help. I was trying to help you.
Damn. So what I've decided
Damn.
is
Read
that
a book.
For me,
Read a book.
this is just for me individually, as a white person, my heritage is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything to me, right? It doesn't affect me. I was, my mom's family, they are Italian Catholic. Right?
Okay.
They're from Chichester.
Nice.
Okay. I was in my 20s when I realized that my mom's mother, my mama, Marie, was Irish.
Okay.
Marie Berry was her maiden name.
Okay.
Okay. I had no idea. When I learned that, it didn't change how I felt about her. It didn't change anything.
You're a very elevated guy. You're a very unique, thoughtful, well-versed, unattached kind of person, which is wonderful. I do, in a weird kind of way. It's funny that you said you don't understand why they're attached and proud about the fact that they're from that block. I do get that. And I know that you could create like a really great intellectual argument for why it's stupid. I get it. But I have a sense of pride of I'm a Delaware native. You know what I'm saying? And I get their sentiment, but it's like, bottom line is Columbus was a dick. It's pretty easy to understand that. So let this one go, bro.
Also,
and why are you being a dick to little girls?
right. Also, Columbus is not from South Philly.
Right.
Columbus is not from here either.
Right.
But
right.
here's my thing. And
But
again,
you're trying to rationalize with irrational people.
this is just me, my perception,
Sure.
my understanding. Pride is great. Pride is a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm only allowed to be proud of things I work for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? As a white person, okay, white pride means nothing to me for two reasons. One, whiteness isn't real. It's not a real thing. It's made up.
And that's where, like, it's funny, real quick, because you're right. And it's going to take a long time for humans to get that.
Right.
Maybe it won't take long. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some weird revolution where all of a sudden we get over that shit.
I'm pretty sure.
But at
we're
the
all
same
gonna go extinct before we figure it out.
But at the same time, like, it's like you gotta kind of work with people from where they are, and it's like, I am ready for there's actually really no race thing, but you trying to, tell a Dominican that they're not Dominican right now, you're gonna have a real struggle with that. Bitch, I'm Dominican, and you better not take it.
That it's a different thing for marginalized and oppressed populations. Okay.
We're just tribal as fuck. It's a human thing. We're tribal as fuck to the point of stupidity.
But it's just okay. So first of all, like the fact that I got lucky. I was born white in a country where that really, really helps out. If you get the opportunity, you should try it. It's fucking great.
Nah, dude, but like, the white man is under attack now, and why should I feel guilty about being white? And
no one's asking you to feel guilty about it. But you're right. Why should you feel guilty about it? Inversely, why should you be proud of that?
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing that happened to you that through. It's not the result of your effort or choices you made. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now white people are the default. Do you play video games at all?
Yeah, not anymore, but I used to a
You
lot. Yeah.
You play video games where you get to create your character. You decide what
Yeah,
your character is like.
yeah.
If you're a white man, all you gotta do is hit start, and the character looks like you, right? We're the default.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. I'm not asking anybody to feel guilty about being white because it's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the result of your effort. It's just a thing that happened. It happens to be the case that you're white.
Yep.
Okay, great. So, like, do something else. The psychological way to whiteness. See, here's the thing. Western society, European civilization, is not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
European history exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
And European history is a history of warfare from the beginning of recorded history until at least 1945. And then it continued in the Balkans up to the 90s.
But don't you feel like, I feel like even if we just took Africa and got rid of the rest of the world, there's going to be a lot of war. People war. Like, there's a huge history of warriors and, right?
And why, but so what I'm saying is that English culture exists.
Sure.
Welsh culture exists. French culture exists. Russian culture exists. But they're not monolith. They're not
Far
one
from
thing.
it.
It's not the same culture. So to say European culture,
Gotcha.
it's a misnomer. You don't even share the same religion, right? Large swaths are Catholic, but there's Catholicism, there's Greek Orthodox, there's Protestantism.
Dude, on the low, this is where I could get myself into trouble because your point, and I'm way off on a tangent now, but like, I'm just going to get myself in trouble. I'll wait for someone to correct me. But the point that you're making now is like when I see these niggas who are like Africa, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Africa is the biggest goddamn place on the whole
Right.
planet. It is literally the most diverse place on the planet. What part? Because it's so goddamn left and right Muslim. Like,
All right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean?
That's true.
What?
But also, look at it from the other side. Okay, I can tell you that my family my ancestors
Right.
came from Germany,
Right.
Ireland,
Right.
and Italy.
Right.
Okay, what part of Africa? What African nation are your forebears from?
Oh, exactly.
You have no idea.
I can have maybe this much of an idea.
Sure.
I can guess somewhere, maybe on the west. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when
So the thing is,
go ahead.
there's Italian American heritage, and Italian American festivals, German American festivals. Okay, there's not Swahili American festivals.
Not yet.
There's not Kenyan American festivals.
They might have that. They might, but it's not a big thing.
Okay, and if they do, people that are celebrating it,
Yeah.
if they know they're from Kenya, it's because they're second generation immigrants.
Right.
They moved from modern Kenya.
Right.
Part of chattel slavery, why it was the peculiar institution, is because you're stripping people of their history.
Yeah.
They don't know. So
Yeah.
of course you're going to say Africa because that's the thing you do. And if we had more time, we could talk about how deeply ingrained Eurocentrism is and white supremacy is in our education. We can talk about the Mercator projection.
The who?
The Mercator projection.
I don't know what that is. Right.
The map on the wall in every school.
Yes.
Iceland is the size of Africa.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So, if you're trying to do a 2D representation of a 3D object, that's difficult.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do a 2D representation of a sphere, that's extremely difficult.
Right.
So you can either preserve area or distance. So if you've got a globe, they call it projection because it's literally a projection.
Right.
You take a globe and here's the equator, and then you wrap a piece of paper around it and project it and trace.
Right.
It distorts everything.
Yeah.
And it really, Russia, not as big as it looks. Ireland or Iceland, not nearly as big as it looks. It distorts everything. Okay? So, getting back to the point I'm making, for me, it doesn't make any sense to have ethnic pride. I don't speak Italian.
But don't you love different cultures? Like,
Sure.
of course you do.
Yeah, look, dude, that's what
Like-
I eat. I love the fact that
You know what I'm saying?
that we have different food, that we live in a diverse
Yeah.
population.
Like I'm here for some Ethiopian food, and I'm here
Sure,
for some Puerto
sure.
Rican food, and all that shit.
Like, yeah, I appreciate it, right?
Right.
And I like comparing how they tell stories.
Like I love the Irish. I love the Italians. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I don't have a problem with anybody.
Like
because of where you're from.
Guinness and Jameson. Fuck yeah, more of that shit.
Sure, but like, one of my old platoon sergeants is a chef at a vegan restaurant in DC now.
Okay.
Okay, and he said something so simple that struck me.
Okay.
I don't have to be vegan to enjoy vegan food.
Dude.
I
Yes.
can go to a vegan restaurant and I can have a good meal, and I'm not a hypocrite because I'm going to go have a chicken sandwich tomorrow.
I swear to God, on both my children and my grandparents, all the ancestors, I haven't done it because I don't want to always have to be the fucking center of attention. But I went, there's a vegan spot. I literally wanted to get a burger, take a picture of me, like, you don't have to be vegan to eat vegan.
Right,
But it's great. Right.
So,
Yeah.
like, you can appreciate things that,
Yeah.
because we live in the 21st century, because the world is small, because I have the privilege to live in a country where people, my neighbors are from all over. My building is overwhelmingly white, but right next door, not so much.
Yeah.
Okay? I walk down the street, I'm going to hear 19, 20 different languages, and
Which is awesome.
it's great. It's great because
Some
that's,
people hate that shit.
people hate that shit.
And I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
It's like a beauty. It's like, how do you? I only want to see red, and I only want to eat pizza. What the fuck are you talking about?
Bro, if you're an adult man ordering chicken fingers and fries, like, I'm gonna judge you. It's fine. Look, I got an autistic palate, texture, right? I don't like a lot of cooked vegetables, right? Because it doesn't feel right to me. That's fine. But I'm gonna try shit. I'm not gonna sit here. I know adult men in their 30s Their diet is nothing but plain cheeseburgers, pepperoni pizza, chicken fingers,
God
French
damn.
fries.
How they
and
alive still? That shit is crazy as fuck.
Bro, your metabolism's gonna break at some point. You know. Just put it out there.
That's crazy.
So the thing is,
It's not fun.
life isn't a zero-sum game,
Mm,
right? You don't have to fail for me to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So unfortunately, though, we live in a country. Every square inch of this country is stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There were other people here, and the First Nations people, they had art.
Mm-hmm.
They had interstate commerce.
Mhm.
They had education. They had literature. They were full societies. They maybe didn't work stone or metal the way that they did in Europe, but that doesn't really matter. They were still human beings the same way. Different gods, different languages, and it's the guy whoever it was that invented the engine
Mm-hmm.
got to work on a horse. You know?
Got to work on a horse?
He rode a horse to work.
Yes.
Right?
Gotcha.
Whoever invented the light bulb
Yes.
worked by candlelight.
Mhm.
We're products of the society in which we exist.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And 500 years ago, there was a very rigid hierarchy, and people have a problem with scale. So the point I'm getting to is that I have no problem saying that Thomas Jefferson, if he was alive today, would be a monstrous human being. And he was a monstrous human being then. But he was raised in a certain framework where certain things were celebrated. As the years have passed, and as we have grown and learned as a species and figured stuff out, you have a relatively small number of people dragging everybody else forward. Okay?
Yep.
So you have people who reject vaccines and reject climate science, getting hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, using GPS in their cars to drive to work.
And they
drive
also
to
are flat
school.
earthers.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the same science. People don't get that shit. We live in a society now where if I want a papaya in Philadelphia in February, that's a thing that can happen with ease. It's not even hard, right? But that doesn't mean everybody's going forward at the same speed. And these are things that you don't have to think about. And now, because we've had a division of labor for so long, people like me, I have the time to sit and think about shit. And I have access to the work of people that have really sat and thought about it and written it down. And then I can look at what people who read that, what they think about it.
Mm-hmm.
We have these advantages, and things are better.
Mhm.
Like, we had a black president. That's not a minor accomplishment. That is a big thing. Doesn't mean everything's fixed.
Right.
Doesn't mean racism is over. If you move from a 4-foot by 6-foot cage to a 9-foot by 10-foot cage, that's better.
Oh shit. What's up, buddy?
Like a groundhog or something.
That's groundhog. Yeah. Little one.
Yeah.
Little groundhog puppy.
Improvements are good, and I understand that me today, as a lower middle class white person in 2020, I live better than any 16th century European noble.
Listen.
God, what was I watching? Dracula on
Okay.
Netflix, right?
Which one? The Bram Stoker's one? Or?
No, it was a BBC series.
Okay.
A 3-episode miniseries, and Dracula ends up basically in suspended animation in a casket at the bottom of the ocean for a couple hundred years.
Okay.
And he wakes up in modern England,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes to this woman's house, poor woman, but she's got a fridge and a stove and a TV, and he's like, "Where are your servants?"
Right.
And he goes, "What do you mean? I don't have any servants." He goes, "You live in a house."
That's amazing.
And she goes, it's a shithole. And it was a shithole. There was shit everywhere, but there's a TV, and it's a different temperature inside than outside,
Right.
and there's glass windows, and a big, huge bed. I mean, we live so well.
So, by no means am I trying to put any burden on you, but and I see this in myself. I know for sure that you're very intelligent and you're very well read. And I guess I'm curious to
My
know.
mom used to say that I'm scary, smart, but also a special kind of stupid.
So, do you have any sort of because I think we didn't really talk about it in depth, but like, you know, you were, I think, actively spending time to sort of figure you out, right? And to define yourself. So, where are you headed? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want to do with all that brain and all that reading and perspective?
I'm working on getting into the PhD program.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Oh, yeah. Fucking professor.
Well, see, it's really fucking scary because I need a writing sample, and I've been out of school for too long. I was trying to get it to apply in January, so I spent 3 months and I wrote 28 pages. But
How
it's
much
not,
do you need of a sample?
It's supposed to be a 27-page sample.
Okay.
The thing is, it's not great.
Okay.
I need to do primary source research, and it was disjointed.
What was it about?
The treatment of veterans and the veterans' place in society. You want to upset me? You want to like really ruin my day? Thank me for my service. Like I don't want to hear it. Like I get it. I understand the sentiment.
You were so much like Dwight, the guy I did like, and it's just so interesting to me that I could easily find soldiers that see it way different, but it's really cool to. I don't know about cool, but like get the same perspective.
Look, the thing is, I didn't. The random stranger who thanks me for my service, I didn't do it for you. Okay? And if you knew what I did, if you had any sort of the specifics of the shit we did over there, you wouldn't thank me. Right? Nothing I did made anybody safer. Nothing I did. There was a show. There was a show called You're the Worst. And one of the characters is Hispanic cat who was an army vet, who he lives with this narcissistic British author, and he said that I fought for this country. I defended America. I defended America. I defended American interests. And the British guy says, you defended the rights of evil men to make money. And he says, Jimmy, evil men making money, that is America. Like that's what yeah, you're right.
But, okay, I get that. It makes perfect sense. And maybe because I'm so outside of, that kind of service. But from my head, even after knowing what I know, even after talking to you and then knowing the stuff that Dwight has seen and done, I still appreciate what you did, because even if it didn't turn out.
Do you appreciate what I did, or do you appreciate what I went through?
I appreciate the fact that you said, they fucked us up, we're gonna fuck you up because I want to live in a place that's safe and sound for the people that I care about, so I'm going to do something about it.
Sure, okay.
Now maybe, oh shit, I didn't think this is what it was, but I signed a contract and I got it as soon as I fucking could.
Right.
But the bottom line is you said this is a problem and I can do something about it, and this is how you do it, and most people don't have the balls to even take that step.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So I get that, and I appreciate the sentiment, but
And I'm terrible at taking compliments, I get it, but...
What I've come to realize is that vengeance has no value.
It wasn't vengeance though. It's like I don't think you. I mean, I'm sure that was a part of it, but like it's in large scale. Maybe I'm trying to sweeten it up more than it is, but it's like if someone comes into my house and fucks up something in my house, that it's my responsibility to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Do you know where ISIS started?
No.
Abu Ghraib.
Okay.
The prison, the American prison.
Oh yeah,
That's
okay.
where ISIS started.
Okay.
Okay. Because you're right, the 19 people, mostly Saudis, in a radical group of mostly Saudis based in Afghanistan, committed a horrible criminal act and murdered 3,000 people, destroyed a lot of property, knocked down 2 buildings that were icons, that were American landmarks.
Right.
Okay. So I decided that radicalized me to take up arms against them and resist that.
Right.
So I went to Iraq and I went into houses in poor villages and blew holes in the wall in the middle of the night.
But that's not what you thought you. That's not what you were thinking you would do.
My intentions are immaterial. And the point is that I went in and to a 12-year-old Iraqi kid who never saw his dad away because a bunch of RoboCop-looking motherfuckers with their faces covered, armed to the teeth, big men, blew up his house, took his dad and his brother away, and he never saw him again.
But you understand it's both,
Sure.
right?
But doesn't that kid have every justification?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's just a cycle of recrimination and nothing gets done. Punishment is worthless. It's useless. Murder has been illegal forever, and the punishment for murder in most places has always been death. People still commit murder.
Yes.
Okay, it doesn't work as a deterrent. It doesn't bring anybody back. And if you look at South Africa, at the end of apartheid, they had reconciliation councils, and they said, okay, this happened, and we did it, and it was wrong. Eventually, again, not religious, but eventually somebody's got to turn the other fucking cheek. Eventually somebody's got to say, hey, you know what? You did me wrong, and we acknowledge that.
Listen.
And am I justified in taking vengeance against you?
Right.
Perhaps, but it's a cycle that does not end. Okay, the reason we have ISIS is because we took bad actors and we tortured them. We punished them. We tried to exact vengeance, and they didn't like it. Right. So when they got out, and we centralized them, we concentrated them together. When they were released, they were like, I'm going to have my revenge. Okay? We spent billions arming the Iraqi army, and then ISIS comes down from Syria, and the Iraqis just fucking left. And ISIS took these tanks and helicopters and Humvees. And then we had to spend more money on the munitions and weapons to destroy those vehicles and munitions. And then we had to get more for the Iraqis. We had to replace them. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You're throwing homosexuals off buildings. You're electrocuting people on the internet. You're slowly lowering prisoners in cages into waters to drown them. And Lockheed Martin their stock is going up, and Boeing stock is going up, and AMC stock is going up, and Colts and Raytheon and Magpul, and it's just money over people's lives. And we know that's people are okay with that because this country, this wonderful, beautiful country that we get to enjoy, was built on centuries of stolen labor. Okay, we have a 40-hour work week and weekends because leftists and labor agitators bled and died to fight for those rights over decades. I was 4 years old when the Philadelphia Police Department got a helicopter and dropped a barrel bomb on the move house and then stopped the fire company from putting out the fire. So like 84 houses burned, something like that.
Yep.
Like, you're fucking with my money. You're fucking with my clout, right? Everybody talks about Dr. King and peaceful protest, and Dr. King would hate this. Okay, so look, one, Dr. King was a radical Christian socialist. Dr. King, like Mahatma Gandhi, insisted on nonviolence. One, because he thought he knew that it was morally right, but two, because it was the only thing that had a chance of working. You were not going to out-violence white supremacy in America, specifically the American South, but the North doesn't get a pass. You couldn't out-violence them, okay? The Indian Revolution, Gandhi's forces, you were never going to out-violence the British Empire.
Right.
Okay? Now with Gandhi, as soon as they took power, that non-violence shit went out the window. They picked up the guns straight away, all right? But the thing is, Dr. King, who lived and he believed in nonviolence, and he was still targeted and harassed and beaten and jailed and ultimately murdered. Right? I mean, and I'm saying this for the audience. I'm not saying this for you. You know this shit.
Yeah.
No. Every time I post something on Facebook, every time I speak to a class, I'm talking to white people, right? Fucking, because racism is a white people problem, and white people gotta solve it. White people have to stop being racist.
Yeah,
right?
I was talking to Lisa a little bit about that. I mean, sure. And it's funny for me, like even, I'm married, Lisa's white as hell. From my perspective, and maybe it should change, but it's like, at the end of the day, just leave us the fuck alone.
Right.
It's not like I'm asking
Right.
for something.
Right.
Like I want you to give me. Just stay the fuck out of my zone. That's all I'm saying. You know, leave me the fuck alone. It's not like I want. I mean, listen, reparations cool. You know, that's on the table for discussion. But from my end, especially as comfortable as I am, you know, just individually, that's the least of my concerns. I just want to be able to go down the fucking street and not worried about being pulled over and fucked with over some bullshit just
Right.
because that nigga looks like a nigga and he might have whatever. You know what I'm
And
saying?
let's-
Like, get the
let's-
fuck out of here.
Let's be real. Let's address some of the tropes. Well, you know, more unarmed white people are killed by cops than black folks.
Because there are more people.
Right. Okay. One. What is your fucking point? Like, so what? Like it's wrong. If a cop kills somebody who doesn't have a weapon, that cop fucked up and did something wrong. Now, there are 7 times more white people than black folks in this country, but there aren't 7 times more white folks killed by police.
Yep.
Okay. So what's your fucking point? What about fucking Chicago? What about black on black crime?
two separate things.
First of all, fuck you. One, okay? First of all, that's the first thing. The majority of crime is opportunistic. It happens where you live, right?
Yep.
So,
But people don't understand.
and wherever you are, I mean, gang violence, it's a problem, sure, great, it shouldn't happen. But in black on black violence, nobody's getting killed because they're black, right? Nobody's getting robbed because they're black, because they live next door. Also, most white people are killed by other white people. Most white people who, if you're the victim of a crime, your victimizer is probably going to look like you.
But that's just a fact that people
It's just
don't
a fact.
accept. And I know that if I spent a week in a trailer park of West Virginia, I'm going to see some horrible shit because it's a poverty thing too. And this is where I get it, but it's like, to me, just with the police brutality, racism, all that stuff, it's like, maybe this is a place where I wish that there was leadership that could guide us to a higher place, because you're right. Like, number one, it's like, it's 2 things. Race is an issue, for sure, but it's also these cops are fucking assholes, and even as poor white people have had plenty of bad interactions with cops who are being dickheads.
Exactly.
And as a biker, I'm like, any person who rides a motorcycle knows that what it feels like to be pigeonholed as a biker and being fucked with by cops. So your issue is racist because you can't just get over the fact that, yes, it's a racial issue, but it's also a cop issue. So why can't we all just get on the same fucking page and be like, dude, it's a problem for everybody, so can't we fucking fix it?
I mean,
you know?
Look, just as an experiment, we've been trying it this way for a long time. Let's try something different for a little bit and see how it works out. Because we have...
And there are plenty of small cities where we could try this out in.
Look, we have...
Wilmington.
4%... The United States has 4% of the world's population, 25% of the world's prison
But
population.
nobody wants to hear that.
Okay, but why is that? Is that an accident? Or
No.
violent? No. Because after the Civil War, we passed the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment says that slavery and involuntary servitude shall be prohibited except as punishment for crime.
And it's profitable as fuck.
And it's profitable as fuck. You go to Whole Foods,
Yep.
stop shopping at Whole Foods. They use prison labor.
Yep.
Jeff Bezos.
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with Whole Foods.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
I did buy coffee filters from there because
Look,
I accept
look. We exist in the world we're in. Fucking Amazon's super convenient, and I buy shit from them sometimes, and I feel bad about it.
Yep.
Okay. But do better. You know, try to think a little bit differently. It just we criminalize behavior, and we know they do it. Fucking Nixon's advisors said that our primary opponents were the civil rights movement, black folks, and the anti-war movement, hippies, and we couldn't make that illegal. So we associated black folks with heroin, we associated hippies with marijuana, and we criminalized the shit out of both of them, and that's what we used to demonize them. And we knew it, right? And that's on the record. That's a historical fact, a thing that we know that people ignore because it makes them uncomfortable, right? And if you're a white person in this country, you part of that privilege is you can ignore it. You can sit there and you can say it's a lie, but you can say, oh, I don't see race.
Yeah, and that's, one more, it's like, that's another place where I've tried to have Facebook discussions and try to explain it. It's like, you can say to any, if you are a man, you should be able to just say, I understand privilege, right?
Right.
So then just take the leap and understand that race is a factor and that economics is a factor, because I'm basically a middle-class male. The only real thing I have that's dragging me down, I'm still in America, so it's easy for me. I live a great fucking life. I'm a happy motherfucker.
There are plenty of places where it's way worse.
I would, listen. I've said over and over again, I'd rather be a middle-class black American than like a poor white person, somebody else. Totally. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if I can make that jump, and the only thing that I'm really worried about is just my blackness, and it's a problem, but it's not a really big problem next to other problems. It's like, how come you can't just make that jump and understand that race is an issue, bro?
Right.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But,
It's extremely frustrating, just because it all comes down to empathy. And it's empathy. It's not hard. I guess for some people it is.
It is. For some people.
I mean, it's, and I get it. There are some people like, okay, I know how to bench press 700 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean I can do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there are people out there that are, people have their own talents and their own abilities, and that has to apply to empathy too. People just have a certain capacity for it. How do we fix it? I don't know that we can. I don't know that it's fixable.
Do you feel like I do at the end of the day, despite the weird place we're in right now for this year, I mean, don't you think for sure that we're taking a very long, road to progression and getting in a better place?
Oh, yes.
I'm very worried about the next year.
I do. But look, I mean...
But maybe this is kind of what needs to happen in order to... Maybe some things do need to be broken and down and fall apart in order to get to a next place. But
the arc of history tends to bend towards justice. That's true. But
this is a prime time for the people who were in charge with all the money and, to really lock shit in a negative way.
Here's the thing
right?
Here's the thing that people don't understand, and I think if I could impress one thing on everybody, it would be this. Literally everything is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever you are, I promise you, you will die.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. Now, again, I'm not religious. I believe I live my life understanding that when I die, that's it. I cease to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This building, I promise you, it's going to fall down.
Mm-hmm.
The statues of Columbus, of George Washington Carver, of Mao Zedong, of Stalin, they're all eventually going to crumble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There will be a last human being. This species is not eternal. We do not have an infinite amount of time. Okay? We are you? So I do deep dives to a lot of nerdy ass shit, right? Are you familiar with the Fermi paradox?
Nope.
Okay, so everywhere on Earth you find water, you find life.
Okay.
And intelligent life exists on Earth. Is there intelligent life anywhere else in the universe?
Not that I know, but there has to be.
Okay, that's the Fermi paradox.
Right.
The Drake equation is a mathematical equation that says, given the age and scope of the universe and the prevalence of suns like ours and planets like ours in the Goldilocks zone, there is, mathematically, there's got to be life everywhere. The universe has to be teeming with it.
Right.
Okay. Why don't we see any evidence of it? That's the Fermi paradox, and there's one of the things is the Great Filter.
Okay.
So that we have been spacefaring for 60 years.
Right. That's nothing.
It's nothing.
And we have gotten nowhere.
We've got nowhere.
Right.
We have one probe transmitting outside of our solar system.
Yeah.
So the footprint of humanity after 250,000 years.
Yeah, when you say it's 60 years, it's like that's nothing. It's my dad. You know
the
what I mean?
footprint of Earth in 4.5 billion years.
Yeah.
We've reached one astronomical unit, and we're probably doomed. With global warming and temperature rise and the stunning capacity in which we've developed weapons of death, I'll be surprised if there is any sort of meaningful human society in 200 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be at all surprised if the last human being doesn't see 2,500.
Really?
Yeah. I could be wrong. We could figure it out. People are remarkably adaptable. But when you look up into the night sky and you scream hello and hear nothing but silence, it could be that intelligent life.
It's like, fuck you.
Could be
These niggas ain't got no sense.
One of my favorite short stories is called Meat, and it's about these two alien explorers that find Earth.
Right.
And they're like, okay, so what do we got? We got radio waves. What's going on here?
Right.
And the one guy looks at the other and goes, it's meat. What do you mean it's meat? We heard radio waves. No, man, listen. The meat figured out how to use radio waves. It's meat that thinks. Well, wait, you mean is it like a larval stage or something else where they become energy-based later? Nope. It's meat. Well, how does meat make radio waves? They built machines. But how do they communicate? They force air through the meat and make sounds to communicate with the other meat.
That's really funny.
They look at each other and are like, so
It's meat.
So what are we going to write down? What do you mean? Nothing. Turn around, get the fuck out of here. It's meat that thinks. We didn't find shit. That's a possibility.
Hilarious.
A more likely possibility is that the ultimate lifespan of intelligent life is 300,000 years, where eventually you master technology and you bring about your own end, either through war or inadvertent terraforming. You know, human beings. This world, this universe, isn't for us, right? Most of this planet will kill you in a day.
What do you mean?
It's 70% water. If
Gotcha.
a human being in Antarctica by himself is dead in hours. A human being in Death Valley is dead in days. A human being in the middle of the Atlantic is dead in hours, right? The universe, you're dead in seconds. Everywhere but a couple of 1,000 feet from the surface of our oceans. This isn't for us. We are not eternal. So while we're here, maybe you don't be an asshole. Maybe you understand the wonder that this is, that we're mostly hairless monkeys that built all of this. And we built it on blood and suffering, but there's also beauty. Dude, bread shouldn't exist. Like, who the fuck figured that out? Who figured out that I can take this plant and grind it up and mix it with some water and throw it in the fire and I get bread? I don't know about you, man, I fucking love bread. Cheese shouldn't exist. Music shouldn't exist. Love shouldn't exist. There's all of these things that we're capable of.
And that doesn't make you think that there's more when you start talking about music and art. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't give you any consideration for a higher, maybe not even a being, but just like that there's something more.
I don't think it's necessary. I think that my personal philosophy is existential nihilism.
Okay.
On the grand scheme of things, nothing matters, but that doesn't matter because we don't exist on the grand scheme. Music and love and all these things are things that people, or probably pre-human ancestors, came up with to stave off that dread, to make existence bearable. Because let's be real. Like I said earlier, I live better than any 18th century noble. For a whole lot of people, I mean billions of people today, life is objectively miserable.
Yes.
But I mean, the trope of slave songs, prison songs, in these awful, oppressive, dehumanizing, objectively miserable situations, people find ways to carve a little bit of joy out of it, because you have to. The only other option is oblivion, insanity, and the survival drive is so strong, right? So yes, here's what my understanding is imperfect and limited. I do not know for a fact that there isn't a consciousness at the center of the universe. I know enough that it isn't necessary. There doesn't have to be a consciousness at the center of the universe. You familiar with Occam's razor?
Yes.
Good. All things being equal, the simplest solution is usually correct. Well, I don't believe if there is a deity, the deity doesn't care about us at all. The deity is probably barely aware of our existence. And given the abject terror and suffering that this world produces that I have taken part in, I just can't wrap my head around that. It's if there is a God who is involved in daily life and intercedes, and then that being is capricious, that being is wicked. This everything happens for a reason. No, there might be a reason everything happens, but not everything happens for a reason. You can't tell me that look, the Christian concept of hell, that there's eternal punishment, not for wickedness, but for failing to accept Christ as your Savior. These are rules set up by an omnipotent, all-seeing God who knows everybody's future at the dawn of time.
Right.
That means everybody in hell was created for the purpose of going to hell. You get X number of years here, and then infinite torture. There is no word for that but evil.
No, I totally understand what you're saying.
Do I know this for a fact? No, I could be wrong. I've been wrong about shit all the time. Maybe I don't understand.
But either way, like the thing is, you have a very unique perspective, and I think that, I would. This doesn't even matter about me, but like,
Don't say that.
I think.
Well, let me start.
I think that you don't recognize your own value. I really do, because I can just see you becoming a professor and shedding a lot of light that people need, and a lot of academic, factual life, to really set up younger generations for a better understanding of not only where we've been, but where we should be going, so that maybe we make it past 2,500.
If I feel like if I've had a positive impact on a dozen people in my life, and that's actually a profound impact.
No doubt.
Yeah. Maybe you're right, but my experience is different from yours, but yours is no less unique than mine.
No doubt. Yeah.
I mean, you were in Austria at a music program on 9/11.
So weird.
Right.
So weird.
People. So here's the thing: the person on Earth most different from you. If we were to line up all 7.5 billion of us, and you're on one end, and then we find the person with the least amount in common, lily white, paraplegic, queer woman who hates It's everybody. You know, the person, the person most different from you on the planet, that person is more like you than they are different, right? Because people are basically the same. Laughter feels the same to me as it did to Mandela, as it did to Ben Franklin, as it did to Hitler, right? And we have this idea where we deify historical figures. You have people in Russia who look at Putin and be like, well, he's really bad, you know, he's not Stalin. The thing is, he kind of is, because Stalin was a human being. There's a thing I like to say whenever we talk about people and how monstrous they are. It's like, you know, Hitler loved his dog. You know, that doesn't change any of the evil shit he did. But he wasn't a mythic character. He was a regular ass dude. He was dumb. He was a petty, mean-spirited, charismatic meth head. What does that sound like? Sounds like our current president. You can be a woefully incompetent monster. You're still human, and you can still have terrible results. People have this idea about cause and effect. That like they think that if something has a big cause, it must be a big effect. That's why you have people who think 9/11 was an inside job and there are lizard people pulling the strings, because it's comforting. At least there's rules. At least somebody's in charge. The fact is that life is chaos, and small effects, small causes can have huge effects, and big, powerful effects can have relatively minor outcomes. For example, we've been at war. There are kids in Afghanistan today that were not born on 9/11. Okay, it's been 19 years. We've been at war that whole time. When I was in 2007, the Department of Defense spent more on air conditioning in Iraq and Afghanistan and Kuwait than all of NASA's budget. So we have had these huge expenditures. Okay, the one thing that you cannot take away from the U.S. military, we are the best trained, best equipped, most lethal force in the history of ever. If you absolutely, positively need to kill every motherfucker in your room, send the Army, send the Marines, we can do that shit. And we've been doing that shit for 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan for nothing. Where's the benefit? What does victory in Iraq look like? What does victory in Afghanistan look like? What is the end of the war? What conditions do you have to meet to declare victory in the global war on terror? No one knows. It's not a thing, because you can't, but we keep doing it. That's spreading to our police forces, because a lot of vets come out and join police forces, and it takes a toll. You know, I don't think I'm special. I don't think I'm unique, and the shit that I did over there weighed on me for a long time, and I didn't do shit that bad. I stayed within the ROE. I didn't see a whole lot of combat compared to some people. I wasn't in Helmand Province. I wasn't in the Siege of Fallujah. I wasn't in the liberation of Baghdad. Okay? I was in small, limited skirmishes. Death is death. Killing is killing. Watching people die is watching people die. And we've spent so much time and treasure in human life for nothing.
I think one of, and this is with a lot of atheists, and it's a common, I think, misconception of atheism, is it's interesting to me that on one hand you have a very pessimistic view of the future and of men, but at the same time you behave in a way that is very appreciative of life and that is good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, why not just go ahead and just, if nothing matters, and just shoot everything the fuck up and, you know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting point, and this isn't a thing that I've come up with on my own. Somebody else says before. I rape and steal to my heart's content, which is numb. I don't want to.
Uh-huh.
That's not what I want to do.
Right.
I'm not. I don't refrain from stealing because I'm scared of the consequences. I refrain from stealing because I don't want to hurt somebody. It's not mine. Okay.
You just don't want to.
Right. Because I am a social animal. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I am a social animal, a member of a species that is able to think about the future and examine consequences. If it's not the cops that stop me robbing the store, it's the fact that it's not right. It's not mine. I'm not allowed to just take it. It's not about religion. It's about the shit that my parents taught me when I was 2. It's about the fact that for most of human history, no individual human has ever done anything of consequence. Okay? We are all in this together. And if you're in a band of 15 people, 15 nomadic scavengers following the herds, it's bad juju to find yourself by yourself. So empathy and reciprocity have evolutionary benefits. It's part of the human condition. Obviously, it's not universal, right? There's a thing called the rule of 150. In a group of 150 or less, you don't need police. You don't need formal rules because fear of being ostracized is enough to keep people in line, right? I don't want to hurt anybody. If I had one wish the rest of my life, it would be that I never had to cause another ounce of pain to anybody else. I'll defend myself if I have to. I will stand up for myself. I'll disagree with you. That's fine. I'm not going to take what's yours.
Right.
Right? Because it's not right. Because how do you define morality? Like in your personal life?
It's kind of what you said. It's just, it's honestly, for me, it really is. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing something, that I'm not oversimplifying, but it's just here.
Right.
It's like it just feels wrong.
Okay.
You know?
It just feels wrong. So.
And that's where I get confused. I'm like, how could a motherfucker grab his balls and say some shit like that to a young girl,
Some people never outgrow the middle school mentality.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I'm far from perfect. Like, I still have...
Nobody's perfect.
I mean, listen. I don't know. It's just, number one, it's definitely good. But at the same time, if Jennifer Lopez wants to walks by here, I want to fuck her. And I have a wife, you know what I'm saying? So I shouldn't want to feel that way, but I want it, but I don't do it because I know that the decision ultimately, that decision to fuck her most of the time is like, it also feels wrong.
Did you decide to be attracted to Lisa? Was that a conscious decision?
Well, obviously not,
Obviously not.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, there are urges, and there are things that you want to do. It's actions, right? So for me, and I think this is part because I was like a philosophy minor, and because codifying things and thinking things, it's a soothing thing for me. Okay, so morality, it is very simple to me. An action is immoral to the extent that it causes harm.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not married, but I live with my girlfriend and I love her to death. I'm fucking infatuated with her.
Nice.
That doesn't mean I don't recognize other women and think, Jesus, man, she's fine. God, I'm not going to do anything. I have no desire to go any further than the visual acknowledgement in my head. That is an attractive woman. And if things were different, maybe I'd sleep with her or try to sleep with her. But I'm not going to do that because I've made a commitment, because my needs are met, and because that would hurt her. It would require dishonesty. It would require deceit. If I see somebody walking around with a shopping bag, full of shit I like,
Right.
yeah, man, I could take that. I could. It's physically possible, right? But I'm going to cause that person a huge amount of pain. I'm going to take that person's agency doing that. I won't do it.
Well, Dan, I'll say this. This might be a good time to wrap it up. I will say this. Yeah, damn, we can talk for a minute, dude.
It happens.
Damn. We need more people like you. I don't give a shit how you feel about your goddamn self. I mean, I do care, but I can't argue whatever with you. But if we had 1 million of you, That would be a good thing for humanity.
There's definitely a million of me.
Well,
I
we
mean,
need more. That's all I'm
appreciate
saying.
that. Same to you. You
Listen.
know, like you've taken the time to come up here out of your day, you know, leave your family behind.
No, I'm happy to leave them behind today. You know, you said it. What you call them on camera? You call them little shitting whatever's the hell. Yeah, I'm happy. I love you, children, and my wife. But yes, this is wonderful.
But what I'm saying is
I'm happy to philosophize out here at the sun of Philadelphia in peace and quiet. Fuck what you heard. So
you have a platform and you've chosen to have me on there,
Thanks.
and I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know that I'm ever going to amount to anything specific, but I'm going to live a good life. There's behave as if you live in a better world, and it will be so. It's
Listen.
even by just this much. You know, I only have control over me, and I don't have perfect control over that. So I'm doing the best I can, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you, man. That was perfect. That was perfect ending. Yeah.